2 weeks after moving into my new house, the previous owner called me. I forgot to disconnect the CCTV in the living room. I only noticed it now by accident. I saw what your wife, your mother-in-law, and your sister-in-law were planning while you were at work. Don't tell your wife. Come alone. The phone rings at 3:47 p.m. on a Tuesday, and I almost don't answer it. I'm standing in the kitchen of our new house, my new house, I should say, though it doesn't feel like mine yet, holding a coffee mug that still has the price sticker on the bottom. The afternoon light comes through the bay windows at an angle that makes everything look staged, like we're living inside a furniture catalog. My wife, Jennifer, chose those windows. She chose almost everything about this place, actually. I just signed the papers. The number on my phone screen is local, but unfamiliar. Normally, I'd let it go to voicemail between spam calls and recruiters. Unknown numbers rarely bring anything good, but something makes me swipe to answer. Maybe it's the way the phone vibrates in my hand, urgent and insistent. Maybe it's the silence in the house, which has felt heavier than usual these past 2 weeks. Hello? Is this David Morrison? The voice is male, older, with the careful pronunciation of someone who's rehearsed what they're going to say. Speaking. There's a pause, long enough that I check to see if the call has dropped. Then, Mr. Morrison, my name is Robert Chen. I was the previous owner of 428 Riverside Drive. I look around the kitchen at the marble countertops Jennifer insisted we needed, at the stainless steel appliances that cost more than my first car, at the breakfast nook where we've eaten exactly 3 meals in 14 days. Oh, hello. Is there a problem with the house? Not with the house, exactly. Another pause. I can hear him breathing, can picture him choosing his words. Mr. Morrison, I need to tell you something, and I need you to listen carefully. Can you talk right now? Are you alone? The hairs on the back of my neck stand up. It's a cliché, I know, but that's exactly what happens. That primal warning system that evolution gave us, the one that knows when something is wrong before our conscious mind catches up. I'm alone, I say, which is true. Jennifer is at her mother's house. She's been spending a lot of time there since we moved in, helping with the garden, she says, or planning Melissa's baby shower, or just having lunch. Always something, always gone. Good, that's good. Robert Chen clears his throat. Mr. Morrison, when I sold you the house, I thought I disconnected everything. Security system, smart home features, all of it. But I made a mistake. There's a camera, a CCTV camera in the living room, hidden in the ceiling smoke detector. I installed it myself 5 years ago after a break-in scare. It's completely invisible unless you know it's there. I walk from the kitchen into the living room, my feet silent on the hardwood floors Jennifer picked out because they matched a Pinterest board she'd shown me. I look up at the ceiling. There are 3 smoke detectors in the open concept space. They all look identical. Okay, I say slowly. So, you want to come disconnect it? I already disconnected the feed remotely, he says quickly. That's not why I'm calling. Mr. Morrison. David, the camera has been recording to a cloud server. My cloud server. I only discovered this yesterday when I was reviewing my storage subscriptions. I was going to just delete everything without looking, but the file sizes were large, which meant there was recent activity, and He trails off. I watched some of it, not all of it, just enough. My heart is doing something strange in my chest. Not racing, that would almost be better. Instead, it's beating too slowly, each thump heavy and deliberate, like footsteps in an empty hallway. Enough for what? Enough to know that you need to see this. Enough to know that what I saw, it's not my business. But if I were you, I'd want to know. I'd need to know. I sit down on the sectional sofa, Jennifer's choice, of course, cream-colored and expensive and utterly impractical for actual living. The leather is cool against my back. What did you see? I can't tell you over the phone. You need to see the footage yourself. But David, I need you to promise me something. Don't tell your wife I called. Don't tell anyone. Come alone. The word alone lands like a stone in water, sending ripples outward. Why? Because what I saw involves your wife. and her mother, and her sister, the three of them, in your living room, while you were at work, and they were planning something. The room seems to tilt slightly. I grip the edge of the sofa cushion to steady myself, feeling the expensive leather compress under my fingers. Planning what? I'll show you the footage. I've downloaded it to a hard drive. We can meet somewhere public, somewhere neutral. But you need to come alone, and you need to not tell them about this call. David, I'm a stranger to you. I have no reason to lie, but I also have no reason to get involved in your life. I'm doing this because, he pauses, because I was married once, and because if someone had told me what I needed to know sooner, maybe things would have been different. His voice has a weight to it now, something sad and old. When? I ask. Tomorrow. There's a coffee shop downtown, the Grindhouse, on 3rd Street. Do you know it? I know it. 2 o'clock. I'll be in the back booth. I'll have a laptop bag. Don't bring your phone, actually. Bring it, but leave it in your car, just in case. Just in case of what? Just in case someone is monitoring more than you think. The call ends. I sit there on the cream-colored sectional in the house I barely recognize as mine, holding my cooling coffee, staring at the smoke detectors in the ceiling. One of them has been watching us, watching them, recording conversations I wasn't part of, capturing moments I wasn't meant to see. The front door opens. Jennifer's voice calls out, bright and cheerful. Honey, I'm home. My mom sent you some of her lasagna. Where are you? I stand up, set my coffee mug on the side table, leaving a ring on the wood that Jennifer will definitely comment on later, and arrange my face into something that resembles normal. Living room? I call back. She appears in the archway, my wife of 6 years, holding a casserole dish wrapped in foil. She's wearing a blue sundress I've never seen before, her blonde hair caught up in that effortlessly messy way that actually takes considerable effort. She's beautiful. I've always thought so. Even now, with Robert Chen's words echoing in my head, they were planning something I can acknowledge, that she's beautiful. You okay? She asks, tilting her head. You look pale. Just tired. Work stuff. You work too hard. She sets the casserole on the kitchen counter and comes to me, wrapping her arms around my waist, pressing her face against my chest. She smells like her mother's house, that specific combination of potpourri and expensive candles that Elizabeth Morrison has in every room. You need to learn to relax. That's why we bought this place. Remember? Fresh start. New chapter. I put my arms around her because that's what you do. That's what husbands do. But I'm looking over her shoulder at the smoke detectors, wondering which one has been bearing witness to whatever it is I'm not supposed to know about. Yeah, I say. Fresh start. That night, I barely sleep. Jennifer is beside me in our king-sized bed, her choice of mattress, her choice of sheets, her choice of bedroom furniture breathing deeply in that perfect sleeper's rhythm. I lie on my back and watch the ceiling fan rotate, its shadow blades cutting through the ambient light from the street. They were planning something. The words loop in my mind, gaining weight with each repetition. Planning what? A surprise party? That seems absurdly optimistic given the drama of Robert Chen's phone call, the insistence on secrecy, the ominous tone. But what else? What could my wife, my mother-in-law, and my sister-in-law be planning that requires such clandestine coordination? I think about the past 2 weeks in this house. Has Jennifer been different? I try to replay our interactions, our conversations, searching for signs I might have missed. She's been busy, certainly. Lots of time at her mother's place. Lots of phone calls that she takes in other rooms. But that's not unusual. Jennifer has always been close with her family. Too close, sometimes. Her mother has opinions about everything, from our finances to our sex life, and Jennifer shares more with Elizabeth than I'm strictly comfortable with. But planning something secretive enough that a stranger felt compelled to warn me? At 2:17 a.m., I give up on sleep and go downstairs. The house is different at night. The clean lines and carefully curated spaces that look so perfect during the day become almost sinister in the darkness. I don't turn on lights, just let my eyes adjust, navigating by the pale glow of the street lamps outside. I stand in the living room and look up at the smoke detectors. There are 3 of them. The one in the center, directly above the sofa. The one by the window. The one near the hallway. Which one is watching? Does it matter? I try to remember the past 2 weeks. What have we done in this room? We've unpacked boxes here. We've eaten takeout on the sofa while watching Netflix. Jennifer has had her mother and sister over twice. No, 3 times. I was at work for 2 of those visits. What did they talk about? What did they plan? I pull out my phone and nearly search for hidden cameras and smoke detectors before I remember Robert Chen's warning. Don't bring your phone, actually. Bring it, but leave it in your car. Just in case someone is monitoring more than you think. Paranoia or prudence? At 2:17 a.m. in a house that still doesn't feel like home, the distinction seems dangerously thin. I put my phone face down on the coffee table and sit in the darkness, alone with my thoughts and the invisible eye in the ceiling that's already seen too much. The next morning, Jennifer is cheerful over breakfast. She's made eggs the way I like them, over easy, with the yolks still runny, and there's fresh coffee in my favorite mug, the one I brought from my old apartment. The one she usually complains doesn't match our kitchen aesthetic. You're being nice, I observe. She laughs. That light, musical sound that first attracted me to her at a friend's barbecue 6 years ago. I'm always nice to you. Suspiciously nice. Can't a wife do something kind for her husband without being suspected of ulterior motives? But she's smiling when she says it, and for a moment, just a moment, I let myself believe that Robert Chen is crazy, that there's been some mistake, that the footage he has shows nothing more sinister than 3 women talking about paint colors or baby shower decorations. Then Jennifer's phone buzzes on the counter. She glances at it, and something crosses her face. Not quite guilty, not quite anxious, but something in that family of expressions. She picks up the phone, reads the message, and types a quick reply. Who was that? I ask, trying to keep my tone casual. Just my mom. She wants me to come over this afternoon. Again? She's lonely, David. Since Dad died, the house feels too big for her. Melissa and I try to keep her company. I know. I'm not criticizing. It's good that you're there for her. But I'm watching her face as she cuts into her toast, and I'm wondering what messages pass between her and her mother, what words they exchange that I'm not meant to see. Just like I wasn't meant to see whatever happened in this living room while I was at work, earning the money that paid for this house, this kitchen, this expensive breakfast nook where we're sitting. I check my watch. 6 hours until my meeting with Robert Chen. 6 hours until I learn what my own home has been hiding from me. I have to work late tonight. I lie. Conference call with the Singapore office. Jennifer nods without looking up. That's fine. I'll probably stay at Mom's for dinner then. She's making pot roast. How convenient, I think. How perfectly, suspiciously convenient. At 1:45 p.m., I pull into the parking lot of the Grindhouse. It's one of those deliberately rustic coffee shops that's become ubiquitous in gentrified downtown areas. Exposed brick, reclaimed wood. A chalkboard menu with items like the existential crisis, a triple espresso, and capitalist tears, an overpriced latte. I leave my phone in the glove compartment, locked. I don't know if I believe Robert Chen's paranoia about monitoring, but better safe than sorry. Better to sit in a coffee shop without my digital leash for an hour than to risk what? What exactly am I risking? I don't have an answer to that question yet. That's why I'm here. Robert Chen is exactly where he said he'd be. Back booth, laptop bag on the table beside him. He's in his mid-60s, I'd guess, with gray hair and glasses and the kind of face that would blend into any crowd. He could be anyone's dad, anyone's uncle, anyone's neighbor. The ordinariness of him is somehow reassuring. He sees me, nods once, and gestures to the seat across from him. I sit. David Morrison, he says. It's not a question, Mr. Chen. Robert, please. He looks around the coffee shop, checking for familiar faces, maybe, or just nervous habit. Thank you for coming. I know this must seem insane. It does seem insane, I agree. So let's skip the pleasantries. Show me what you have. He opens the laptop bag and pulls out an external hard drive, matte black, about the size of a deck of cards. He connects it to his laptop with a cable that's clearly been used many times. The white plastic is grayed with age and handling. "Before I show you this," he says quietly, "I need to ask, how well do you know your wife's family?" It's a strange question, but I answer it. Jennifer and I have been together 6 years, married for 6. Her mother, Elizabeth, is strong-willed, a planner. She's used to being in control. Jennifer's father died 3 years ago, heart attack, and Elizabeth took it hard. She's very involved in both her daughters' lives. Maybe too involved, but Jennifer doesn't see it that way. And the sister? And that is Melissa, younger by 4 years. She's pregnant with her second child, married to a guy named Tom who works in sales. They seem happy enough. Normal family stuff. Robert nods slowly, like I've confirmed something he suspected. "And your marriage? How would you describe it?" Why does that matter? Because what you're about to see will make more sense if I understand the context. I think about lying, about painting the picture of a perfect marriage because that's what you do with strangers. But something about this moment, this coffee shop booth, this man, I don't know, this hard drive full of secrets demands honesty. We've been struggling, I admit, not fighting, exactly, just distant. She spends most of her time with her mother and sister. I work a lot. We bought this house because we thought a change of scenery might help. Fresh start and all that. But the truth is, we've been drifting apart for about a year now. Maybe longer. Do you still love her? The question catches me off guard. Yes, I think so. I don't know. Is that a strange answer? No, Robert says. It's an honest one. He turns his laptop to face me. The screen shows a video player, paused on a frame of my living room. The angle is from above, looking down the smoke detector's perspective. I can see the sofa, the coffee table, part of the kitchen beyond. There are 3 women sitting in my living room. Jennifer, Elizabeth, Melissa. And they're looking at papers. Documents spread across my expensive coffee table. Robert's finger hovers over the spacebar. This was recorded 4 days ago, Thursday afternoon. You were at work. I've edited it down to the relevant parts. The full recording is over 3 hours, but you don't need to sit through them making small talk and drinking tea. What I'm about to show you is 15 minutes of conversation that I think you need to hear. My mouth is dry. My heart is doing that thing again, beating too slow and too heavy. Show me, I say. Robert Chen presses play, and my wife's voice fills the small space between us, tinny through the laptop speakers, but clear enough, painfully clear enough. So, we're all agreed then? Once the house is in my name, we proceed with the plan? The video quality is better than I expected. Robert Chen's hidden camera captured everything in sharp detail. The afternoon sunlight streaming through those bay windows Jennifer loved, the way it caught the dust motes floating in the air, the expressions on 3 familiar faces as they huddled around my coffee table like conspirators in a Renaissance painting. I can see Jennifer clearly. She's wearing the same blue sundress from yesterday, which means this recording is recent, so recent that the dress probably still smells like her mother's potpourri, still carries the evidence of this meeting I knew nothing about. So we're all agreed then? Jennifer's voice comes through the laptop speakers. Once the house is in my name, we proceed with the plan? Elizabeth Morrison, my mother-in-law, sitting in my living room, drinking from one of my mugs, nods decisively. She's 63, but looks 50, thanks to good genes and better cosmetic work. Her silver hair is cut in that severe bob that wealthy women favor, and she's wearing pearls, even though it's a Thursday afternoon. Elizabeth doesn't do casual. The house has to be completely in your name first, Elizabeth says, shuffling through papers on the coffee table. No joint ownership, no shared title. Otherwise, it complicates everything legally. The attorney was very clear about that. The attorney, I repeat quietly, more to myself than to Robert Chen. My voice sounds hollow. On screen, Melissa, Jennifer's younger sister, 7 months pregnant and glowing with it, leans forward. And you're sure David won't notice? The title transfer? Jennifer laughs. It's a sound I know intimately, have heard thousands of times across 6 years. But hearing it now, in this context, it sounds different, sharper, colder. David doesn't pay attention to paperwork. Jennifer says, he just signs whatever I put in front of him. He's always been like that. Too trusting. Too busy with work to bother with the details. Who? The words land like physical blows. Each one precise, targeted, deliberately aimed at the parts of me that are already tender with doubt. Robert Chen pauses the video. Do you want to keep watching? I can't speak, can barely breathe. I manage a nod. He presses play. Elizabeth pulls a document from the stack on the table, holds it up to the light streaming through those perfect bay windows. This is the quitclaim deed. Once he signs this, the house transfers entirely to you, Jennifer. It removes his name from the title completely. Then we can proceed with Phase 2. Phase 2, I whisper. On the screen, Jennifer takes the document from her mother, examines it, and he won't realize what he's signing? Not if you bury it in the stack of refinancing papers like we discussed. Elizabeth's smile is sharp enough to cut glass. Men never read what they sign. Especially not men like David, who think they're above the tedious business of household management. He'll see mortgage documents and sign wherever you tell him to. Melissa actually giggles, her hand on her pregnant belly. It's almost too easy. It's justice, Elizabeth corrects her, and her voice takes on that imperious tone I've heard her use 1,000 times, usually when discussing people she considers beneath her. David has been holding Jennifer back for years. This house, this neighborhood, it should have happened years ago. But his middle-class sensibilities, his pathetic little job, his refusal to accept help from family, he's been an anchor around her neck. I feel Robert Chen's eyes on me, but I can't look away from the screen. Can't stop watching my wife nod in agreement with her mother's assessment of me. My wife, who I've loved, do love, present tense, even now sitting in the home I worked overtime to afford, agreeing that I'm an anchor. The job thing is temporary, Jennifer says, and there's a defensive note in her voice that almost sounds like she's defending me. Once I file for divorce, I'll get the house in the settlement. It's California Community Property State, but with the title solely in my name and the right attorney, we can make it clean. The prenup he insisted on won't matter because the house was purchased after marriage with what will technically be my money once we backdate some of Mom's loans to me. The word divorce echoes in my skull. Divorce. Not a surprise party. Not a gift. Divorce. And not just divorce theft. Planned, premeditated, attorney-assisted theft of the house I've been working 60-hour weeks to pay for. Robert pauses the video again. When he speaks, his voice is gentle, the kind of gentle people use around broken things. I'm sorry. I know this is. Keep playing it, I interrupt. I need to hear all of it. He hesitates, then nods. The video continues. Elizabeth is standing now, pacing in front of my fireplace, the one Jennifer said we needed, even though we live in Southern California, and it's purely decorative. The timeline is crucial. You need to get him to sign the quitclaim deed within the next 2 weeks. The sooner the better. Once the house is in your name, you file for divorce. Cite irreconcilable differences. With my attorney handling it, David won't know what hit him until the papers are served. And the business about the prenup? Melissa asks. The prenup protects his precious savings and his future earnings, Elizabeth says dismissively. It says nothing about property acquired during the marriage with family money. And thanks to the creative loan structure my attorney created, we can prove that the down payment and the mortgage payments have all been gifts from me to Jennifer that David simply benefited from. Jennifer is nodding, taking notes on her phone. My wife, my partner, taking notes on how to rob me. What about his reaction? Jennifer asks quietly, when he realizes what's happened. Elizabeth waves this away like it's a trivial concern. What can he do? By the time he understands the situation, it'll be too late. The house will be yours, legally and entirely. He can hire an attorney if he wants, but fighting it will cost him tens of thousands of dollars and months of litigation. And frankly, darling, David doesn't have that kind of fight in him. He never has. The casual cruelty of it takes my breath away. The way she speaks about me like I'm a problem to be managed, an obstacle to be overcome, A person so inconsequential that my reaction to being systematically defrauded is barely worth considering. I almost feel bad, Melissa offers, but she's smiling when she says it. He's not a terrible guy. A bit boring, but not terrible. He's dead weight, Elizabeth snaps. And you don't feel bad about cutting loose dead weight. You feel relieved. Jennifer will feel relieved. She'll finally be free to meet someone appropriate. Someone from our circle. Someone who can give her the life she deserves, not this. She gestures vaguely around the living room. This middle-class mediocrity. I've heard enough, more than enough, but I can't look away. It's like watching a car accident in slow motion, horrifying and hypnotic in equal measure. Jennifer stands up, walks to the window, looks out at the yard I've been planning to landscape. What if he doesn't sign? He will, Elizabeth says with absolute certainty. You'll make sure of it. Be sweet. Be attentive. Make him dinner. Sleep with him if you have to. Whatever it takes to keep him comfortable and unsuspecting until that signature is on the paper. Men are simple creatures, Jennifer. They're easy to manipulate if you know which buttons to push. The video continues for another few minutes. Logistics, timeline discussions, a brief debate about whether Jennifer should wait until after Melissa's baby shower to file the divorce papers. They decide to wait because Elizabeth doesn't want drama at the party. Then the three of them gather up their papers. Elizabeth makes a joke about taking the evidence with them, and they leave. The last shot is of my empty living room. Sunlight fading as afternoon turns to evening. The cream-colored sectional, pristine and perfectly arranged. Robert Chen closes the laptop. We sit in silence. Around us, the coffee shop continues its normal operation. Espresso machines hissing, conversations overlapping, someone's laptop playing music just a bit too loud. Normal life. Proceeding normally, while my entire world restructures itself in my head. There's more, Robert says finally. 2 other recordings, one from last week where they discuss the actual divorce proceedings in detail, another from this Monday where Elizabeth brought the actual documents, the ones they're planning to have you sign. I want copies, I say. My voice is surprisingly steady. Everything, all the footage. I have it all on this drive. He slides the small black rectangle across the table. Password protected. The password is on this. He hands me a piece of paper folded in half. I suggest you find a very good attorney. One your wife doesn't know. One her mother's money can't influence. I take the hard drive, hold it in my palm. It's almost weightless, this little device that contains the evidence of my wife's betrayal, my mother-in-law's manipulation, my sister-in-law's complicity. Truth always feels like it should be heavier. Why are you helping me, I ask. You don't know me. You have nothing to gain from this. Robert takes off his glasses, cleans them with the edge of his shirt, a stalling tactic, giving himself time to formulate his answer. I told you I was married once. My wife and her family, they did something similar to me. Not exactly the same, but close enough. And no one warned me. No one showed me the evidence until it was too late. I lost everything, the house, my savings, my business. It took me 10 years to rebuild my life. He puts his glasses back on, meets my eyes. I sold you that house because I was downsizing, moving closer to my daughter. It's a good house. I was happy there for many years. And when I saw what was happening in that living room, what they were planning, he shakes his head. I couldn't let it happen again. Not if I could prevent it. Thank you, I say, and the words feel inadequate for what he's given me. Not just evidence, though, that's valuable beyond measure, but time. The opportunity to act before it's too late. I don't know how to repay. You don't repay it, he interrupts. You just don't let them win. You protect yourself. You're smarter than they think you are, and you have something they don't expect you to have. What's that? The truth. He closes his laptop, puts it in his bag, and truth, properly leveraged, is the most powerful weapon there is. I sit in my car in the Grindhouse parking lot for 20 minutes before I remember that I'm supposed to retrieve my phone from the glove compartment. My hands are shaking when I unlock it. 17 messages, all from Jennifer. Where are you? Called your office? They said you left early. Starting to worry. David, seriously, call me. This isn't funny. The progression from casual inquiry to frustration to what might be actual concern would be touching if I didn't know what I know now. If I hadn't just watched footage of her plotting to steal my house, planning her exit strategy with her mother's attorney, laughing about how easy I am to manipulate. I text back, "Sorry, phone died. Stepped out for coffee. Home soon." Her response is immediate. "Okay, good. Was worried. Mom invited us for dinner. Want to go?" The audacity of it. The sheer, breathtaking audacity of asking me to have dinner with the people actively conspiring against me. "Sure," I type. "Sounds great." Because that's what I do now. I pretend. I play the role of the oblivious husband, the easy mark, the man too busy and too trusting to notice the trap closing around him. But now I'm pretending with purpose. Now I'm pretending while I plan. I drive home slowly, giving myself time to think. The hard drive is in my jacket pocket, solid and real and full of evidence. But evidence is only useful if I use it correctly. If I go home and confront Jennifer now, she'll have time to regroup, to call her mother's attorney, to spin some story that makes me look paranoid or crazy or abusive. If I show my hand too early, I lose the advantage. No, what I need is a strategy. What I need is my own attorney, one who can tell me exactly how to protect myself, how to use this footage, how to turn their plan against them. What I need is to be smarter than they think I am. The house looks exactly the same when I pull into the driveway. Same perfect facade. Same meticulously maintained landscaping that Jennifer hired professionals to install because my own efforts weren't elevated enough. Same bay windows reflecting the late afternoon sun. But I see it differently now. This isn't my home. It's a crime scene. A stage where a performance has been happening without my knowledge, where I've been playing the fool while the real drama unfolds in my absence. Jennifer's car is in the garage. She's home from her mother's already, probably freshening up before dinner, probably checking her phone to make sure I'm not suspicious, probably reviewing her mental notes on which buttons to push to keep me compliant. Be sweet. Be attentive. Sleep with him if you have to. I take a breath. 2, 3. Then I get out of the car and walk to the front door, the hard drive, a comfortable weight in my pocket, my face arranged in the expression of a man who knows nothing, suspects nothing, fears nothing. The door opens before I can reach for my keys. Jennifer is there, freshly showered, wearing the perfume I bought her for her birthday, smiling that smile that used to make my heart race. "There you are," she says, and pulls me into a hug. "I was starting to think you'd been kidnapped." I hug her back. Her hair smells like vanilla. Her body fits against mine the way it has for 6 years. And for just a moment, one traitorous, foolish moment, I want to believe this is real. That the footage was faked? That Robert Chen is crazy? That my wife loves me and this is all some terrible misunderstanding? Then I remember her voice on the recording. David doesn't pay attention to paperwork. He just signs whatever I put in front of him. I pull back, give her my best approximation of a normal smile. Just needed some air. Work's been stressful. I know, baby. That's why you need a break. Mom's making your favorite pot roast with those little potatoes you like. And Melissa will be there. It'll be nice. Family dinner. Family dinner. With the 3 women who are actively planning to rob me. Can't wait, I say. And I mean it. Because tonight, at Elizabeth Morrison's dinner table, I'll be watching them. I'll be listening. I'll be gathering more evidence, more information, more ammunition for whatever comes next. They think I'm easy to fool. They think I'm too trusting, too busy, too boring to notice what's happening right in front of me. They're about to learn how wrong they are. Jennifer links her arm through mine. Come on, we should get going. You know how Mom is about people being late. Yes, I know exactly how Elizabeth is. I know her better than I thought I did. I know what she thinks of me, how little she values me, how easy she believes it will be to discard me. But she doesn't know me. Not really. She doesn't know what I'm capable of when cornered. Neither does Jennifer. Neither does Melissa. They're about to find out. We walk to Jennifer's car together. She insists on driving, wants me to relax, probably wants to control the situation even in this small way, and I settle into the passenger seat with my secrets safe in my pocket. Robert Chen was right about one thing. Truth, properly leveraged, is the most powerful weapon there is. And I'm about to become very well armed. Elizabeth Morrison's house is everything mine is not. Where our new place is modern and open concept, hers is traditional and compartmentalized, a sprawling Tudor-style estate in the kind of neighborhood where the houses have names instead of just numbers. Ashworth Manor, the tasteful bronze plaque by the front door announces, as if anyone could forget which monument to wealth they're visiting. Jennifer parks in the circular driveway, behind Melissa's Mercedes SUV, a vehicle far too expensive for a sales manager's wife. But then again, Elizabeth has always been generous with her daughters. Generous with everything except approval, from what I've observed over the years. Though I'm starting to understand that observation might have been too shallow. I've been swimming in these waters for 6 years without realizing how deep they run, how dark they get beneath the surface. "You're quiet," Jennifer says, turning off the engine. Her hand finds mine across the center console, fingers interlacing in a gesture that used to feel natural and now feels like theater. "Everything okay?" "Just tired. Long day." "Well, Mom will cheer you up. She always does." This statement is so fundamentally untrue that I almost laugh. Elizabeth Morrison has never cheered me up. She tolerates me, patronizes me, occasionally deigns to acknowledge my existence in her daughter's life, but cheer me up? That would require her to see me as a person worthy of emotional investment rather than an obstacle to be eventually overcome. Which, I now know, is exactly how she sees me. An obstacle, dead weight, middle-class mediocrity. The front door opens before we reach it. Elizabeth herself, dressed in what I've learned to recognize as casual entertaining attire, slacks that probably cost more than my monthly car payment, a silk blouse in that particular shade of cream that only wealthy people can maintain, pearls at her throat, always pearls. I wonder if she sleeps in them. "Jennifer, darling." She embraces her daughter with genuine warmth, the kind of physical affection I've rarely seen her display. Then her eyes land on me, and the warmth doesn't exactly disappear, but it transforms, becomes something more calculated. "David, so good of you to come. I know how busy you are with work." There's something in the way she says work, a subtle inflection that manages to be both dismissive and sympathetic at once. Poor David, working so hard at his little job. How quaint. "Elizabeth, thank you for having us." "Always. Come in, come in." Melissa's already here with Tom. They're in the sitting room. The sitting room. As opposed to the living room, the drawing room, the parlor, the library, or any of the other 7 rooms in this house where one might theoretically sit. Elizabeth's home is a warren of formal spaces, each with its own designated purpose, its own set of rules and expectations. I've never felt comfortable here, even before I knew what I know now. The house smells like it always does. Expensive candles and furniture polish, and something else, something harder to define. Old money, maybe. Inherited certainty. The scent of people who've never questioned their right to the space they occupy in the world. Melissa is indeed in the sitting room, sprawled on a love seat, with her hands on her pregnant belly, looking every inch the glowing mother-to-be. Her husband Tom is beside her, scrolling through his phone with the glazed expression of a man who's learned that his presence is required but his participation is optional. "David." Melissa brightens when she sees me, and for a disorienting moment, I wonder if I imagined the footage, if Robert Chen somehow staged it. This is Melissa, as I've always known, her sweet, slightly ditzy, harmless, not the woman who giggled about how easy I am to fool. "You look exhausted. Jennifer, you're working him too hard." "His job is working him too hard," Jennifer corrects, settling onto the sofa. "I keep telling him he needs to set boundaries, but you know, David, always the dedicated employee." Tom looks up from his phone long enough to nod at me. "Brutal out there, man. I don't know how you do it, corporate life. At least in sales, I'm my own boss." He's not his own boss. He works for a medical device company, and has a district manager who calls him every Monday morning to review his numbers. But I don't correct him. Why would I? Let him have his illusions. God knows I've been living with mine. Elizabeth appears with a tray of cocktails, martinis, perfectly made, in glasses that catch the light from the crystal chandelier above. I thought we could have a civilized drink before dinner. The roast needs another 20 minutes. She hands me a martini, and our eyes meet for just a second. In that second, I see it, the calculation, the assessment, the subtle evaluation of whether I suspect anything. I see her seeing me, and I see what she expects to find. Nothing. No awareness, no intelligence, just David, the simple, trusting fool who signs whatever papers his wife puts in front of him. I take the drink and smile. This is perfect, Elizabeth, thank you. You're welcome, dear. She settles into her chair, the one that's clearly hers, positioned to command the room, and raises her glass. To family, we echo, and the crystal chimes as we toast. I sip my martini and taste gin and vermouth and the bitter knowledge of betrayal. But I keep my face neutral, keep my posture relaxed, keep playing the part I've been assigned in this little drama. The unsuspecting victim. The conversation flows around me, like water around a stone. They talk about Melissa's pregnancy. She's having a girl. They're naming her Charlotte. The nursery is coming along beautifully. They talk about the baby shower. Elizabeth is hosting it here. Naturally, 2 weeks from Saturday, a garden party theme with a guest list of 80 people. They talk about Jennifer's work at the nonprofit where she volunteers. It's not real work, not paid work, but it keeps her busy and lets her network with the right people. The right people. That phrase comes up a lot in Elizabeth's vocabulary. The right neighborhood. The right schools. The right circles. I've never been the right people, and I've always known that. But I thought Jennifer loved me anyway. I thought what we had was real, built on something more substantial than social climbing and her mother's approval. How naive. How spectacularly, embarrassingly naive. David, you're very quiet tonight. Elizabeth's voice cuts through my thoughts. All eyes turn to me. Jennifer, concerned. Melissa, curious. Tom, barely interested. Elizabeth, watching. Always watching. Just enjoying listening, I say. It's nice to be around family. Work's been so isolating lately. Jennifer's hand finds my knee, squeezes. He's been working such long hours, I barely see him. That's not sustainable, Elizabeth says, and there's genuine sounding concern in her voice. If I didn't know better, I'd believe it. You'll burn yourself out, David. And for what? These companies don't care about you. They'll replace you the moment it's convenient. Mom, Jennifer says, but there's no real reproach in it. It's true, darling. David needs to think about his future. His health. Work-life balance is so important. I wonder if she realizes how ironic this is. Elizabeth Morrison lecturing me about work-life balance while plotting to steal my house. Elizabeth Morrison, concerned about my future while systematically destroying it. I appreciate that, I say. Actually, I've been thinking about making some changes, taking stock of my life, my assets, making sure everything's in order. Something flickers in Elizabeth's eyes. Not quite alarm, but close. A sharpening of focus. That's very wise, she says smoothly. It's good to be organized. In fact, Jennifer mentioned you two have been dealing with all the paperwork from the new house purchase. So tedious, isn't it? All those documents. Here it is. The opening. The setup. Jennifer picks up the thread seamlessly. God, yes. Stacks and stacks of papers. The mortgage documents alone are ridiculous. I told David we should just hire someone to handle it, but he insists on reading everything himself. This is a lie. I've never insisted on reading everything myself. In fact, they're right. I usually just sign where Jennifer tells me to sign, trusting that she's handled the details. But now she's laying groundwork, creating a narrative where I'm supposedly meticulous about paperwork, which will make it easier to explain away any discrepancies later. Look, she'll say, he read everything. He knew what he was signing. I don't read everything, I say mildly. I trust Jennifer to handle the household finances. She's always been better at that stuff than me. The relief in the room is almost palpable. Elizabeth's shoulders relax fractionally. Jennifer's smile becomes more genuine. Well, that's what partnership is about, Elizabeth says. Division of labor, playing to each other's strengths. Exactly, Jennifer agrees. David handles his career. I handle the home. It works for us. Melissa shifts on the love seat, one hand rubbing her belly. I wish Tom and I had that kind of system. He's useless with paperwork, bills, documents, all of it. It all falls on me. Tom doesn't even look up from his phone. You're better at it, babe. See? Elizabeth gestures with her martini glass. Men are simple creatures. They want to provide, to work, to feel useful. But the day-to-day management, the details, the planning, that's women's work. And thank God for it, or nothing would ever get done. I remember her voice from the recording. Men are simple creatures, Jennifer. They're easy to manipulate if you know which buttons to push. I take another sip of my martini to wash down the rage that's building in my throat. Simple creatures, easy to manipulate. They're sitting here, in this opulent room, drinking expensive gin, discussing their systematic deception of me like it's household management. Like I'm a problem to be solved, rather than a person to be respected. You're absolutely right, I say, and my voice is steady, calm. I don't know what I'd do without Jennifer handling all those details. She's saved me from so many headaches. Jennifer leans against me, her head on my shoulder. That's what I'm here for. The physical contact should be comforting. Instead, it feels like a snake coiling around its prey. Dinner is served in the formal dining room, at a table that could seat 12, but tonight holds only 5. Elizabeth at the head, naturally. Jennifer to her right. Me beside Jennifer. Melissa and Tom across from us. The pot roast is perfect, because everything Elizabeth does is perfect. The potatoes are exactly the right texture. The vegetables are seasoned precisely. The wine is a Bordeaux that probably costs more than my weekly grocery budget. We eat and talk and laugh, and I watch them. I watch Elizabeth directing the conversation, like a conductor with an orchestra, guiding topics, steering us away from anything controversial or unpleasant. I watch Jennifer, animated and bright, the daughter seeking approval, the wife playing her role. I watch Melissa, content in her pregnancy, secure in her place within the family structure. And I watch myself from the outside, seeing clearly for perhaps the first time how I've been positioned in this family dynamic. I'm not a member. I'm not even really a guest. I'm a temporary fixture, a phase Jennifer is going through, an inconvenience to be eventually resolved. David, you seem distracted. Elizabeth again, always observing, always assessing. Is the roast all right? It's delicious. I'm just thinking about work. Always working, she shakes her head with performative sympathy. You need a vacation. Both of you do. Maybe after things settle down with the new house. After things settle down. After I've signed away my rights to the property. After the trap has closed. That's a wonderful idea, Jennifer says. We could go somewhere tropical. The Maldives, maybe. Or Bora Bora. I'd be happy to help with that, Elizabeth offers. Consider it a housewarming gift. Because that's what she does. She gives gifts that come with invisible strings. Generosity, that's really control. And I've been accepting these gifts for years, not seeing the strings, not understanding that every favor she does is another link in the chain she's building. That's very generous, I say, but I think we should wait. Make sure we're financially stable in the new house first. Financially stable. Elizabeth's laugh is light, musical, edged with something sharp. David, darling, you're always so serious about money. Life is meant to be lived, not saved for. That's easy to say when you have money to spare. The words come out sharper than I intended. The table goes quiet. Jennifer's hand tightens on my knee, a warning or a reassurance. I'm not sure which. Elizabeth regards me with those cool gray eyes. For a moment, just a moment, I see the real woman beneath the performance. The woman who thinks I'm dead weight. The woman who's orchestrating my removal from her daughter's life. "I suppose it is," she says finally. "But you work so hard, David. Surely you deserve to enjoy the fruits of your labor occasionally." The fruits of my labor. The house they're planning to steal. The life I've built that they're systematically dismantling. "I enjoy what I have," I say, meeting her gaze. "I don't take anything for granted." Something passes between us in that moment. She doesn't know that I know, but she senses something, some shift in the dynamic, some resistance where there should be compliance. "Of course you don't," she says smoothly, and turns her attention to Melissa. "Now, about the shower. I've been thinking we should have it catered by Bissett's. They did such a lovely job for the Caldwell wedding." The conversation moves on. The moment passes, but I've seen what I needed to see. Elizabeth Morrison is used to being in control, used to people deferring to her wishes, accepting her generosity, playing their assigned roles. But she's also wary, careful. She didn't get to where she is by being careless. Which means I need to be more careful than she is. We stay for coffee and dessert, a lavender creme brulee that Elizabeth's housekeeper prepared, served in delicate ramekins, with a tiny edible flower on top. We stay for more conversation, more wine, more performance. I play my part. I laugh at Tom's weak jokes. I compliment Elizabeth's cooking. I hold Jennifer's hand and let her lean against me and act like a man with nothing to hide and nothing to fear. But inside, I'm cataloging every word, every glance, every subtle interaction between these three women who think I'm too simple to notice their conspiracy. At 10 o'clock, we finally leave. Jennifer drives us home through streets lined with jacaranda trees, their purple blooms ghostly in the streetlights. "That was nice," she says. "Mom really does care about you, you know." She worries. "I know. You were a little sharp with her." About the money comment. "I didn't mean to be. I'm just tired." "I know, baby." Her hand finds mine in the dark car. "But we're building something good here. The new house, our life together. It's all coming together." Coming together, falling apart. Two sides of the same process, I suppose. We pull into our driveway. Our perfect driveway, in our perfect neighborhood, in the house that might already be lost to me if I don't act fast enough, smart enough. Inside, Jennifer kisses me goodnight, a real kiss, passionate and warm, the kind that used to lead to more. And I kiss her back, because that's what I do now. I perform. I pretend. I keep my secrets close while I plan. Be sweet. Be attentive. Sleep with him if you have to. She's following her mother's playbook, and I'm letting her think it's working. "I'm going to take a shower," she says, heading for the stairs. "Don't stay up too late." I won't. But I do stay up. I wait until I hear the water running upstairs, until I know she's occupied. Then I take the hard drive from where I've hidden it in my jacket pocket and sit down at the desk in my study, the one room in this house that's still mine, still full of my books and my things and my life from before. I plug the hard drive into my laptop, enter the password Robert Chen gave me, and I start watching the other footage, the other conversations, the other evidence of my wife's betrayal, systematically documented by a camera she didn't know was there. Knowledge is power, they say. I'm about to become very powerful indeed. The second recording is from 6 days ago, Monday afternoon, 2 o'clock, according to the timestamp in the corner of the screen. I'm sitting in my study at midnight, headphones on so Jennifer won't hear if she wakes up, watching my living room fill with the three women who've become strangers to me in the span of 48 hours. The laptop screen casts a blue glow across my face, and I can see my reflection in the window beside me, a ghost watching ghosts, a man observing the systematic dismantling of his own life. Elizabeth arrives first. She lets herself in, with a key I didn't know she had, carrying a leather portfolio that probably cost more than my first car. She sets it on the coffee table with the careful precision of someone handling valuable cargo, then walks to the kitchen, my kitchen, and helps herself to the espresso machine. The casual entitlement of it stuns me even now, even after everything. She's in my home, making coffee, preparing to plot against me, and she does it all with the comfortable authority of someone who believes they have every right to be there. Because in her mind, I suppose, she does. This house was bought with her money, or what will become her money, once their backdated loan scheme is in place. She probably sees herself as the real owner, with me as just an inconvenient tenant who needs to be evicted. Jennifer arrives 10 minutes later, and there's something in the way they greet each other that I've never noticed before. A synchronization. A unity of purpose. They're not just mother and daughter, they're co-conspirators, partners in a venture that has nothing to do with love or family, and everything to do with control and acquisition. Is Melissa coming? Jennifer asks, settling on the sofa. She can't. Morning sickness. But she's aware of the timeline. Elizabeth sits beside her daughter, opens the portfolio. I have the documents from Marcus. Marcus. That would be Marcus Whitfield, Elizabeth's attorney. I've met him exactly twice. Once at a charity gala Elizabeth dragged us to, once at her Christmas party last year. Silver-haired, expensive suit. The kind of lawyer who makes problems disappear for people who can afford him. Show me, Jennifer says, and there's an eagerness in her voice that makes my chest tight. Elizabeth pulls out a stack of papers, spreads them across my coffee table like a dealer laying out cards. This is the quitclaim deed. Once David signs this, the house transfers entirely into your name. It's formatted to look like a standard refinancing document. Most people just see mortgage paperwork and sign wherever the little arrows point. She's right, I realize with a sick feeling. That's exactly what I would have done. What I've done 100 times before with insurance forms, bank documents, tax papers. Jennifer hands me a stack, points to the signature lines. I sign. Easy, efficient, trusting. Too trusting, as Jennifer said on that first recording. And he won't notice it's different from actual refinancing papers? Jennifer's examining the document, her brow furrowed in concentration. Why would he? The language is deliberately obscure. Unless he has a real estate attorney review every page, which, let's be honest, David would never do. He'll see mortgage documents at the top and just sign. That's what Marcus designed it for. Plausible deniability. If questioned later, you can claim you didn't understand what you were signing either. That you trusted the mortgage company. What mortgage company? There isn't one. But there are letterheads, official-looking stamps. Marcus has people who handle this kind of thing. Elizabeth's smile is sharp. Don't look so worried, darling. This is what we're paying him for. He's done this sort of restructuring dozens of times. Restructuring. That's what they're calling it. Not theft, not fraud, restructuring. Jennifer picks up another document. And this? That's the backdated promissory note. It establishes that I loaned you $400,000 3 years ago before you married David for the express purpose of purchasing a home. The loan has been, let's call it, informally forgiven over time, but the original intent remains clear. You used family money for the house. David merely benefited from your financial planning. But we didn't buy the house 3 years ago. No, but you had the money available. The intention was there. Marcus says that's enough for the argument to work, especially combined with the quitclaim deed. Once the house is solely in your name, it becomes separate property, not community property. The prenup David insisted on becomes irrelevant because the prenup only protects assets acquired during the marriage with marital funds. This house was acquired with my money, given to you. I watched Jennifer nod slowly, absorbing the logic of this larceny. My wife, learning the mechanics of how to rob me. What about the down payment we made? Jennifer asks. David contributed half of that, easily explained as a loan repayment to me, which, again, is documented here. Elizabeth pulls out another page. See? Every dollar David contributed to this house can be reframed as him paying back money you borrowed from me on his behalf. It's all perfectly legal, darling. Unethical, perhaps, but legal. That's the beauty of it. Legal but unethical, the motto of expensive attorneys everywhere. When do I give these to him? Jennifer asks. Soon, this week, if possible. The longer we wait, the more risk there is that something changes. David could decide to consult an attorney about something unrelated and mention the house. He could talk to a colleague who knows about real estate law. Unlikely, but possible. We need to move quickly. He's been stressed lately. Distracted. Good. That works in our favor. Stressed people don't read carefully. They just want the paperwork over with so they can get back to whatever's occupying their mental bandwidth. Elizabeth gathers the documents, puts them back in the portfolio. Mix these in with some actual mortgage statements, maybe a credit card application, some junk mail. Make it look like you're just having him sign off on routine household business. Then stand there with him, point to each signature line, chat about dinner plans or something trivial. Keep him comfortable. Keep him distracted. I can do that. Of course she can. She's been doing it for years, hasn't she? Keeping me comfortable, keeping me distracted, keeping me in the dark about who she really is and what she really wants. The recording continues for another 20 minutes. They discuss timing, the sooner the better, but not so rushed that it seems suspicious. They discuss my typical evening routine. I come home around 6:30, eat dinner, usually retreat to my study to finish work emails. Thursday would be ideal, they decide. I'm always exhausted on Thursdays, least likely to ask questions. Today is Wednesday, which means tomorrow, tonight, technically. Since it's past midnight, Jennifer is planning to have me sign away my house. I pause the video, take off my headphones, sit in the silence of my study, the only sound, the quiet hum of my laptop, and the distant whisper of water through pipes as Jennifer showers upstairs. Tomorrow, 24 hours to prepare, to plan, to decide how I'm going to handle this. I could confront her now, storm upstairs, throw open the bathroom door, demand answers. But that would be reactive, emotional. It would give her time to mount a defense, to call her mother, to activate whatever contingency plans Marcus Whitfield has prepared for exactly this scenario. No, what I need is to be strategic, methodical. I need to outplan the planners. I pull up my phone, the one I've been careful to leave face down on my desk, away from any potential surveillance, and start searching for attorneys. Not just any attorneys. I need someone who specializes in family law, property disputes, fraud, someone who can move quickly, someone who won't be intimidated by Elizabeth Morrison's money or Marcus Whitfield's reputation. It takes me 40 minutes and 3 legal consultation websites before I find her. Diane Chen, no relation to Robert Chen, according to her bio, though the coincidence makes me smile grimly. She's a partner at a mid-sized firm downtown. Specializes in high-asset divorces and property fraud cases. Her reviews mention her as aggressive, meticulous, and not afraid to fight dirty when the situation calls for it. Perfect. Her office offers emergency consultations for time-sensitive matters. I book one for tomorrow, today at noon, during my lunch break. The appointment confirmation arrives in my email within minutes, and I immediately delete it, clear my browser history, and shut down my laptop. Paranoid? Maybe. But Jennifer's mother warned her about monitoring phones. If Elizabeth Morrison thinks to track my digital footprint, I don't want her finding evidence of attorney consultations. I'm learning to think like them, to operate in shadows and secrets. It's not a comfortable feeling, but it's necessary. The shower upstairs has stopped. I hear Jennifer moving around in the bedroom, the soft sounds of her nighttime routine lotions applied, hair brushed, the bed creaking as she climbs in. I should go up there. Should lie beside my wife and pretend to sleep, pretend tomorrow is just another day. But I need a few more minutes. Need to sit with this knowledge, this evidence, this growing understanding of just how thoroughly I've been deceived. I open my laptop again. There's a third recording, the most recent one. I press play. This one is from yesterday, Tuesday. The day after Elizabeth brought the documents. The day before Jennifer plans to have me sign them. It's just Jennifer this time, alone in the living room, on her phone, FaceTime, from the angle and the way she's holding her phone in front of her. I don't know, Mom. What if he reads them? Jennifer's voice is uncertain, younger sounding without the performance of confidence she maintains around me. Elizabeth's voice comes through tinny but clear. He won't read them, darling. We've been over this. David is exactly who we think he is, trusting, busy, intellectually lazy when it comes to paperwork. He'll sign. But what if? No, what ifs. You're overthinking this. The plan is solid. Marcus has done this 100 times. It just feels so. Jennifer trails off, and for a moment, Just a moment. I think I hear something like guilt in her voice. So what? Necessary? Because it is necessary, Jennifer. You've wasted 6 years on this man. 6 years of your prime, when you could have been meeting someone appropriate, someone from our world. I know, but nothing. Do you want to end up like your father and me, staying in a loveless marriage for decades because it was easier than leaving? Because that's what will happen if you don't act now. You'll wake up at 50, still married to David, still living a life that's smaller than you deserve. Jennifer is quiet. I watch her on the screen, this woman I've shared a bed with for 6 years, and try to read her expression. Is that doubt, regret, or just nervousness about executing the plan? He's not a bad person, Jennifer says finally. No, he's not. He's just the wrong person, and staying with the wrong person out of guilt or habit or fear of change, that's not kindness, darling. That's cowardice. You're right. You're always right. I know. Now, tomorrow night, Thursday, you'll have everything ready? Yes. I'll mix the documents in with the mortgage statements and the credit card application from Visa, just like you said. And you'll stay with him while he signs? Keep him talking? Keep him comfortable? Yes, Mom. I can do this. I know you can. You're stronger than you think. And once it's done, once you've filed for divorce, you'll be free. Free to find someone who can actually give you the life you've always wanted. The life she's always wanted. Not the life we built together. Not the partnership I thought we had. The life her mother promised her. The one that apparently doesn't include me. They talk for a few more minutes. Logistics. Timeline. What Jennifer should say if I ask questions about the documents. Then the call ends, and Jennifer sits alone on our sofa, staring at nothing. She stays there for almost 10 minutes, just sitting, thinking, and I watch her, this stranger who looks like my wife, and wonder what she's thinking. Does she feel guilty? Does she have second thoughts? Or is she just rehearsing her lines for tomorrow's performance? Finally, she stands up, gathers her phone, and leaves the living room. The camera captures the empty space, the coffee table where tomorrow night the documents will be spread, the sofa where I'll sit and sign away my home while my wife makes small talk and keeps me distracted. I close the laptop. My hands are shaking. Not with fear, with rage. Pure, crystalline rage that I haven't allowed myself to feel until now. I've been numb, shocked, operating on autopilot while I process the betrayal. But now, hearing Elizabeth dismiss 6 years of my life as wasted, hearing Jennifer agree without protest, hearing them plan my deception with such casual cruelty, now I feel it. They think I'm weak, trusting, intellectually lazy. They're about to learn exactly how wrong they are. I don't go upstairs until 2 in the morning. When I finally slide into bed beside Jennifer, she stirs, reaches for me in her sleep. "Where were you?" she mumbles. "Couldn't sleep. Worked for a bit." Love you. The words should mean something. Once, they did. Once, hearing Jennifer say "I love you" could carry me through a difficult week, could make me feel valued and seen and necessary. Now, they're just sounds, air passing through vocal cords, shaped into syllables that have lost all meaning. "Love you too," I whisper, "because that's my part in this script, the trusting husband, the easy mark." But tomorrow at noon, I'll be sitting in Diane Chen's office with a hard drive full of evidence. Tomorrow night, when Jennifer spreads those fraudulent documents across our coffee table and asks me to sign, I'll know exactly what they are. I'll know exactly what she's trying to do. And I'll have to decide, do I sign them? Do I let her think the plan worked, give her enough rope to hang herself? Or do I refuse, confront her, force the confrontation now before I have all my pieces in position? The strategic part of my brain says to sign them. Let her believe she's won. Let her file for divorce with the falsified documents. Then reveal that I knew all along, that I have evidence, that her entire scheme was built on the flawed assumption that I'm too stupid to notice when I'm being robbed. The emotional part of my brain wants to wake her up right now and demand answers, wants to see her face when she realizes I know, wants the immediate satisfaction of watching her carefully constructed plan collapse. But I've spent 6 years deferring to emotion, trusting my heart over my head, believing that love conquers all, and good intentions matter more than actions. Look where that got me. Time to let strategy lead for once. I lie in the dark beside my sleeping wife and plan. By the time dawn breaks through our bedroom window, filtering through the curtains Jennifer chose because they matched the duvet cover, I know exactly what I'm going to do. Thursday night, I'll sign every document Jennifer puts in front of me. And then, I'll let her show me exactly who she really is. The truth will come later. The revelation. The reckoning. But it will come on my terms, in my time, with my evidence lined up like dominoes waiting to fall. Elizabeth Morrison said, "Men are simple creatures, easy to manipulate." She's about to discover that underestimating someone is the fastest way to lose to them. I barely sleep. When my alarm goes off at 6, I'm already awake, staring at the ceiling, running scenarios through my mind. Jennifer wakes up slowly, stretches, reaches for me. Morning. You okay? You feel tense. You feel tense. Because I am tense. Because I'm lying next to someone who's planning to rob me and I have to pretend everything is normal. But I can't say that. Just thinking about work. Big presentation today. You'll do great. You always do. She kisses my shoulder, then gets up, heads to the bathroom. I hear the shower start. I get dressed in the dark, choosing clothes carefully. Meeting an attorney today. Need to look, put together, professional, like someone who takes their life seriously, not the intellectually lazy fool Elizabeth Morrison thinks I am. Downstairs, I make coffee. Toast. Go through the motions of a normal morning while my phone sits on the counter. That appointment confirmation, hidden in my deleted items folder. Noon. Diane Chen's office. 6 hours, until I learn if there's any way to protect myself from what's coming. Jennifer appears in the kitchen doorway, already dressed, already perfect. "I'm having lunch with Melissa today. Baby shower planning. Sounds good. What time will you be home tonight?" Here it is. The setup. She needs to know when to have the documents ready, when to stage the signing. Probably around 6:30, normal time. Perfect. I'll make dinner. That pasta you like. The pasta I like. She's following her mother's playbook exactly. Be sweet. Be attentive. Keep him comfortable. That sounds great, I say, and I mean it. Because tonight, when Jennifer performs her role and I perform mine, I'll be watching with new eyes, gathering more evidence, building my case. She kisses me goodbye at the door. Have a good day. You too. I watch her drive away in her car, the one her mother helped buy, with a loan that was probably structured the same way as the house, creating paper trails and obligations that tie Jennifer to Elizabeth in ways I never fully understood until now. Then I get in my own car, the one I bought myself with money I earned, and drive to work with Robert Chen's hard drive in my laptop bag and an appointment with an attorney in my calendar. The evidence is gathered. The plan is forming. And tonight, Phase 1 begins. The morning drags like a prison sentence. I sit at my desk in my office, a glass-walled cube on the 14th floor that overlooks the downtown skyline, and pretend to work. Emails pile up in my inbox. A colleague stops by to discuss the quarterly projections. My phone buzzes with Slack messages about the presentation that doesn't actually exist, the one I invented as an excuse for being tense this morning. I respond to everything on autopilot, my body executing the familiar routines of corporate life while my mind is miles away, locked in that coffee shop booth with Robert Chen, watching footage of my wife plotting against me. At 11:30, I tell my assistant I'm stepping out for lunch. She barely looks up from her screen, just nods, and reminds me about a 2 o'clock meeting I'll need to reschedule. I make a note. Keep everything normal. Keep all the plates spinning so no one notices that the man keeping them aloft is falling apart. The drive to Diane Chen's office takes 20 minutes through midday traffic. Her firm occupies the 5th floor of a steel and glass tower in the financial district, the kind of building that announces itself as serious, expensive, not to be trifled with. The lobby is all marble and chrome, the elevator silent and smooth, the hallway leading to her suite carpeted in that particular shade of gray that signals professional respectability. I'm 5 minutes early. The receptionist, a young man with perfect hair and a practiced smile, offers me water, coffee, a seat in the waiting area. I take the water, decline the seat, too nervous to sit, too wired to be still. At exactly noon, a woman emerges from an inner office. Diane Chen is not what I expected. I'd pictured someone older, severe, the stereotypical battle-axe divorce attorney in a power suit. Instead, she's maybe 40, wearing slacks and a silk blouse, her dark hair pulled back in a simple ponytail. She has the kind of face that could be kind or ruthless depending on the angle, and right now, as she extends her hand to shake mine, I can't tell which version I'm meeting. Mr. Morrison, thank you for coming on such short notice. Thank you for seeing me. Come on back. She leads me down a hallway lined with closed office doors, each one presumably hiding someone else's crisis, someone else's betrayal. I reviewed the intake form you filled out online. You mentioned time-sensitive property fraud concerns? Yes. We enter her office. It's smaller than I expected for a partner, but impeccably organized. Floor-to-ceiling bookshelves, lined with legal texts. A desk that's actually clear, except for a laptop and a yellow legal pad. 2 chairs facing each other across a small table by the window. She gestures for me to take one. Tell me everything, she says, settling into the opposite chair with her legal pad. Start from the beginning. Don't leave anything out, even if you think it's not relevant. I'll decide what matters. So I tell her. I tell her about the phone call from Robert Chen, about the hidden camera, about the footage of my wife and her mother and her sister planning to steal my house. I tell her about the quitclaim deed disguised as mortgage paperwork, about the backdated promissory notes, about Marcus Whitfield and his creative restructuring schemes. I tell her about tonight, about how Jennifer is planning to have me sign documents that will transfer the house entirely into her name, setting the stage for a divorce that will leave me with nothing. Diane Chen takes notes in neat, precise handwriting. She doesn't interrupt, doesn't gasp or shake her head, or show any reaction beyond the occasional thoughtful nod. Just writes and listens, her face a mask of professional neutrality. When I finish, she sets down her pen. Do you have the footage? I pull out my laptop. The hard drive. Everything. 3 recordings total. Plus the password-protected drive with all the original files. Time-stamped and dated. Show me the most damning one. The one where they explicitly discuss the fraud. I pull up the second recording. The one from Monday, where Elizabeth walks Jennifer through the documents, explains the quitclaim deed, discusses the backdated loans. I skip ahead to the relevant sections. Let Diane watch as my mother-in-law outlines her scheme with the casual confidence of someone who's done this before. Diane's expression doesn't change, but something shifts in her posture, a sharpening, a focus. When the clip ends, she leans back in her chair. This is good. Very good. But it's also complicated. Complicated how? California's a 2-party consent state for recordings, which means that technically, this footage was obtained illegally. No one in that room consented to being recorded. My stomach drops. So it's not admissible? I didn't say that. I said it's complicated. She taps her pen against the legal pad. There are exceptions. The previous owner, Robert Chen, installed the camera in his own home for security purposes. That was legal. He then forgot to disconnect it when he sold the house. That's negligent, but not criminal. The fact that he discovered the recordings and shared them with you because he believed a crime was being planned, that puts us in murky territory. But they're planning fraud, doesn't that matter? It does. But we have to be strategic about how we use this evidence. If we go to court with illegally obtained recordings, even in service of preventing a crime, we risk having them thrown out. Or worse, having the focus shift to how the recordings were obtained rather than what they contain. So what do? Diane leans forward, her eyes sharp. We build a parallel case. We use what you know from the recordings to gather legitimate evidence. We document everything they do going forward. We let them think their plan is working while we quietly prepare our counteroffensive. You want me to sign the documents tonight? I want you to do exactly what they expect you to do. Sign where they tell you to sign. Act oblivious. Let Jennifer believe she's successfully transferred the house into her name. She pauses. But before you sign anything, I'm going to have you sign something for me. A declaration, sworn and notarized, stating that you were deceived about the nature of the documents, that you did not understand, you were signing a quitclaim deed, that you believed in good faith, you were signing mortgage refinancing paperwork. Will that hold up? It will give us grounds to challenge the transfer. Combined with the footage, which we'll introduce carefully through the right channels, we can demonstrate a pattern of fraud and deception. We can prove that you were deliberately misled by your wife and her mother with the assistance of an attorney who absolutely should have known better. The mention of Marcus Whitfield makes Diane's expression harden. I know Whitfield. He's slick, expensive, and has a reputation for skirting ethical lines. But if he's involved in fabricating backdated loan documents, creating fraudulent quitclaim deeds disguised as mortgage paperwork, that's not skirting lines. That's crossing them. That's the kind of thing that gets you disbarred. You think we can use that? His involvement? I think Marcus Whitfield's involvement is the best thing that could have happened to your case. Attorneys are held to a higher standard. If we can prove he knowingly participated in fraud against you, and based on what I just watched, we have leverage, serious leverage. She makes a note on her legal pad. But we need to be smart. We need to let them commit fully to this scheme before we pull the rug out. So I sign tonight. Let Jennifer think it worked. Then what? Then we wait. How long until she plans to file for divorce? I think back to the recordings, the timeline discussions. They want the house transfer to be complete first. They mentioned waiting a few weeks to make it look less suspicious. Maybe a month. Good. That gives us time to prepare. In the meantime, I'm going to start building our case. I'll need copies of everything. The real mortgage documents, bank statements, proof of your financial contributions to the house. I'll need documentation of your marriage, the prenup if you have one, tax returns, everything. I can get all of that. Do it quietly. Don't let Jennifer know you're gathering documents. If she suspects you're preparing for divorce, she might accelerate her timeline, and we need her to move at her own pace. We need her to feel confident, in control. There's something almost predatory in the way Diane says this. A hunter's patience. What about the recordings? The hard drive? Leave it with me. I'll have my investigator review everything, create a detailed timeline, identify any additional evidence or witnesses we might need. I'll also have him look into Marcus Whitfield's other cases, see if there's a pattern of this kind of behavior. If we can prove this isn't an isolated incident, it strengthens our position. She stands, and I realize the consultation is ending. Mr. Morrison, David, I need to be clear about something. What you're describing is not just a divorce. It's a coordinated scheme to defraud you of a significant asset. These are serious allegations. If we pursue this, it's going to get ugly. Your wife, her mother, potentially her sister, they're all going to face legal consequences. Are you prepared for that? Am I prepared for that? I think about Jennifer's voice on the recording. David doesn't pay attention to paperwork. He just signs whatever I put in front of him. I think about Elizabeth's dismissal of our 6 years together as wasted time. I think about Melissa giggling about how easy I am to fool. Yes, I say. I'm prepared. Good. Because once we start this, there's no going back. You can't unring this bell. Your marriage is over. It was over the moment they decided to defraud you, even if you didn't know it yet. The question now is whether you're going to walk away with nothing, or whether you're going to fight for what's rightfully yours. I'm going to fight. Diane extends her hand. Then let's get you ready for war. I return to the office in a daze. The afternoon passes in a blur of meetings I barely pay attention to, emails I respond to without really reading. My colleague asks if I'm feeling okay. I look pale, apparently, and I blame it on not eating lunch. She offers to get me a sandwich from the deli downstairs. I accept because declining would seem stranger, and right now the most important thing is appearing normal. The sandwich tastes like cardboard. Or maybe that's just me. My senses dulled by the weight of what I'm about to do. At 5 o'clock, I pack up my laptop, say goodnight to my assistant, and drive home through rush hour traffic that moves like sludge. Usually, this commute frustrates me. The endless brake lights, The aggressive lane changes, the whole wasteful inefficiency of everyone trying to get somewhere at the same time. Today, I barely notice. My mind is elsewhere. In Diane Chen's office, I signed a declaration, sworn, notarized by the young man with perfect hair who apparently moonlights as a notary public for the firm. The declaration states, in careful legal language, that I do not understand. I am signing a quitclaim deed tonight. That I believe, in good faith, that any documents my wife presents to me are routine mortgage paperwork. That I trust her to handle our household finances and have no reason to suspect deception. It felt strange, signing a document that declares my ignorance of other documents I haven't signed yet. Preemptive fraud protection, Diane called it. A paper trail that establishes my state of mind before the crime occurs. They're going to argue that you knew what you were signing, she explained as I signed. That you're making this up after the fact because you regret your decision. This declaration, dated and notarized today, proves that you had no knowledge of their scheme before it happened. It's our insurance policy. Insurance. That's what my life has become. A series of strategic moves designed to protect against betrayal, to hedge against the people who are supposed to love me. The sun is setting as I pull into my driveway. The house looks the same as always. Perfect landscaping, perfect facade, perfect lie. Jennifer's car is already there, which means she's home, which means the stage is set. I sit in my car for a moment, hands on the steering wheel, breathing. This is it, the performance of a lifetime. I have to walk into that house and be David Morrison, the oblivious husband. Not David Morrison who spent his lunch hour with a divorce attorney. Not David Morrison who knows exactly what his wife is planning. Just David, tired from work, looking forward to dinner, trusting and unsuspecting, and intellectually lazy. I can do this. I've been doing this my whole marriage. Apparently playing a role, being who they expect me to be. The only difference is that now I know I'm acting. I get out of the car. The front door is unlocked. I can smell pasta sauce Jennifer actually cooked, following through on her promise from this morning. The scent of garlic and tomatoes and basil fills the house, homey and warm and utterly false. David? Her voice from the kitchen. Is that you? Yeah, it's me. I drop my laptop bag by the door, not in the study where I usually take it, but here, by the entrance, where I can grab it quickly if needed. The hard drive is already with Diane Chen, but my laptop has notes, research, browser history. Better to keep it close. Jennifer appears in the kitchen doorway, smiling. She's changed into casual clothes, yoga pants, and one of my old t-shirts, the kind of comfortable domestic look that's supposed to signal intimacy and trust. Her hair is down, slightly messy. She's barefoot. She looks beautiful. She always has. And she's about to try to rob me. How was your day? She asks. Long. Yours? Good. Melissa and I finalized the baby shower plans. Mom's going all out, as usual. She moves to me, wraps her arms around my waist, presses her face against my chest. I missed you. I put my arms around her because that's what husbands do. Missed you too. Dinner's almost ready. But first. She pulls back, looks up at me with those blue eyes I fell in love with 6 years ago. I need you to help me with something. Just some paperwork. Boring stuff, but it needs your signature. Here it is. My heart is pounding, but I keep my face neutral, tired, mildly annoyed by the prospect of paperwork, but willing to help. What kind of paperwork? Just the mortgage stuff. I've been organizing all our documents, and there are a few things that need both our signatures. It'll take like 5 minutes, then we can eat. Can it wait until after dinner? I'm exhausted. Please. She does this thing with her eyes, a little pout that she knows I find charming. I want to get it all filed away. Fresh start in the new house and all that. Clean paperwork, organized files. Very adult of us. Very adult. Very organized. Very fraudulent. Fine, I say, because that's what the David she expects would say. Reluctant, but compliant. Too tired to argue about something as mundane as household paperwork. Thank you, baby. She kisses me quickly, then takes my hand, leads me into the living room, and there it is. The coffee table, just like in the recording. Documents spread out in neat stacks. I can see mortgage statements on top, legitimate ones, probably meant to camouflage what's underneath. A credit card application from Visa, exactly as they discussed. Some utility bills, and buried somewhere in there, camouflaged by legitimate paperwork, the quitclaim deed that will transfer my house entirely into her name. Jennifer sits on the sofa, pats the cushion beside her. Sit. This won't take long. I sit, and the performance begins. She picks up the first stack, starts walking me through it. Okay, so these are just the mortgage statements from last month. I need you to sign here to acknowledge receipt. She points to a line, hands me a pen. Just a formality for our records. I sign. My handwriting looks normal, steady. The signature of a man who has no idea what's coming. Great. And this one is the credit card application we talked about getting a joint card for household expenses, remember? We never talked about that. But I nod. Sign where she indicates. Perfect. You're doing great. Her hand rests on my knee, warm and familiar. Just a couple more. She reaches for another stack. I know, from the recording, from Diane's warning, from the weight of this moment, that this is it, the quitclaim deed, the document that will make me homeless in my own house. Jennifer pulls out a form, and my eyes scan it quickly. There, buried in legal language, formatted to look like a standard mortgage document, the transfer of property, the removal of my name from the title. This one's a refinancing thing, Jennifer says casually, her voice smooth as silk. Just signing off on the new mortgage terms. You know how banks are. They need signatures for everything. She's good. I'll give her that. If I didn't know better, I'd believe her completely. The casual tone, the dismissive attitude toward boring paperwork, the way she keeps me talking about other things, dinner plans, weekend plans, Melissa's baby shower, while pointing to signature lines. I take the pen, look at the document, and remember Diane Chen's words. Let them think their plan is working. I sign my name, David Morrison, in blue ink, on the line that transfers my house to my wife. Done, Jennifer says brightly, gathering the papers. That wasn't so bad, was it? Painless? I agree. And it was. Completely painless. The pain will come later. For both of us. But right now, in this moment, I'm just a husband who signed some paperwork so he could eat dinner. Jennifer doesn't know that I know. Doesn't know that every word she's said tonight has been recorded in my memory, compared against the footage added to the evidence. Doesn't know that her carefully orchestrated fraud just became the foundation of her own destruction. Let's eat, she says, and leads me to the kitchen. And I follow, because that's what I do. For now, dinner is a performance worthy of an Oscar. We sit at the breakfast nook, Jennifer's carefully chosen table, in the carefully designed kitchen of the house I just signed away, and eat pasta while making small talk. She asks about my day. I ask about hers. We discuss Melissa's baby shower, the weather, whether we should finally get around to painting the guest room. Normal conversation, married conversation, the kind of easy back and forth that comes from 6 years of shared life. Except every word tastes like poison in my mouth. Jennifer is particularly animated tonight, more affectionate than she's been in months. She laughs at my mediocre jokes. She reaches across the table to touch my hand. She tells me about a funny thing that happened at lunch with Melissa, some story about a waitress and a mix-up with their orders that's probably fabricated but serves its purpose, keeping me comfortable, keeping me distracted, keeping me from thinking too hard about the documents I just signed. Be sweet. Be attentive. She's following the playbook perfectly, and I'm following mine. I laugh at the right moments. I ask follow-up questions. I compliment the pasta sauce, which is actually quite good, further proof that Jennifer is capable of effort when it serves her purposes. We do the dishes together. Her washing, me drying. A domestic routine we've performed hundreds of times. The window above the sink reflects our images back at us. A couple doing dishes after dinner, backlit by the warm glow of pendant lights she chose because they were statement pieces. We look happy. We look normal. We look like liars. I'm going to run these documents by the bank tomorrow, Jennifer says casually. rinsing a plate. Get everything filed properly. Start the new year organized. It's October, but I don't point this out. Sounds good, I say, drying a wine glass. Very responsible of you. She smiles at that. Someone has to be the responsible one in this relationship. The comment lands like a slap, but I keep my expression neutral. Good thing I have you. Good thing, she agrees. We finish the dishes. Jennifer suggests we watch a movie, something light, a comedy maybe, but I beg off, claiming exhaustion from work. She looks momentarily disappointed, then understanding. Of course, you've had a long week. Go relax in your study. I'll find something to watch on my own. My study, the one room that's still mine. I wonder if she's already planning what she'll do with it after the divorce. Guest room, home office, yoga studio. I kiss her goodnight, a real kiss, because that's what's expected, and retreat upstairs. In my study, I close the door and lean against it, breathing. The performance is exhausting. Every smile, every casual comment, every moment of pretending I don't know what I know. It's like running a marathon while wearing a mask. My face hurts from maintaining neutral expressions. My chest aches from swallowing rage. But it worked. I signed the documents. Jennifer believes the plan is proceeding smoothly, and now I need to document everything that just happened while it's fresh in my mind. I pull out my phone, the one I've been careful with, the one I haven't used for anything incriminating, and open a voice memo app. Then I think better of it. Voice recordings can be extracted, traced, subpoenaed. Better to write it down. Old-fashioned pen and paper, the kind that leaves no digital footprint. I find a notebook in my desk drawer, one I bought for work notes but never used, and start writing. October 23rd, 6:47 p.m. Jennifer presented me with documents she claimed were routine mortgage paperwork and a credit card application. She specifically stated, "This one's a refinancing thing, just signing off on the new mortgage terms." I signed in good faith, believing her representation. I had no knowledge that one of the documents was a quitclaim deed transferring sole ownership of 428 Riverside Drive to Jennifer Morrison. She remained with me throughout the signing, engaged in casual conversation about dinner plans and her sister's baby shower. Her demeanor was relaxed, affectionate. There was no indication that the documents were anything other than what she represented them to be. After signing, she stated she would run these documents by the bank tomorrow to get everything filed properly. I date it, timestamp it, initial each page. Diane said to document everything. This is everything. Captured while the memory is immediate and accurate. My phone buzzes. A text from Diane Chen. Did it happen? I respond, yes. Signed at 6:47 p.m. She plans to file tomorrow. Her reply is immediate. Good. Don't contact me again from your personal phone. Use the secure number I gave you from a location away from your house. We'll meet next week to discuss next steps. I delete the text thread, clear my recent calls, and power down the phone. Paranoid, maybe. But Jennifer's mother warned about monitoring phones, and I'm not taking chances. From downstairs, I hear the TV, the opening credits of some show. The laugh track artificial and grating. Jennifer, settling in for a relaxing evening after successfully defrauding her husband. I wonder what she's feeling right now. Relief that it's done? Satisfaction at executing the plan? Or is there any guilt, any small voice in her head questioning what she's done? I'll never know. That's the thing about betrayal. It creates a distance that can never be closed. Even if by some miracle we reconciled tomorrow, even if she fell to her knees and begged forgiveness, I would never again have access to her interior life. I would never know what she really thinks, what she really feels, what she's really planning. That intimacy is gone forever, and maybe it was never there to begin with. Maybe I've been living with a stranger all along, someone who showed me only what I wanted to see while concealing her true self. The thought is more painful than the fraud itself. I don't sleep again that night. Around midnight, Jennifer comes upstairs, peeks into the study. You're still up? Can't shut my brain off. Work stuff. You work too hard. She comes to me, kisses the top of my head. Don't stay up too late. I won't, but I do. I sit in my study until 3 in the morning, making lists, planning, thinking. Tomorrow, Jennifer will file the fraudulent documents. The house will transfer into her name. And then what? How long until she files for divorce? The recording suggested a few weeks, maybe a month. They want it to look natural, not suspicious. Which gives me time. Time to gather more evidence. Time to prepare my case. Time to position myself for whatever comes next. At some point, I must drift off in my desk chair because I wake to sunlight streaming through the window and a stiff neck. My phone shows 7:23 a.m. Friday morning. Downstairs, I hear Jennifer moving around, the coffee maker gurgling, NPR playing softly from the kitchen speaker. I make my way down, trying to work out the kinks in my neck. Jennifer looks fresh, well-rested, cheerful. She's already dressed in nice slacks and a blouse bank clothes, I realize. She's actually going to the bank this morning to file the documents. Morning, sleepyhead. Did you sleep in your study again? Fell asleep at my desk. Oh, honey. She pours me coffee, adds cream the way I like it. You really need to take better care of yourself. Maybe we should book that vacation, Mom suggested. Get you away from work for a while. The vacation she offered to pay for. Another string, another link in the chain. Maybe, I say non-committally. I have some errands this morning, Jennifer continues, and there's something studied about her casual tone. Banking stuff, post office, dry cleaning, the usual Friday morning nonsense. I should be back by lunch. Banking stuff. She's telling me she's going to the bank, but framing it as routine errands, nothing significant, making sure I have no reason to question or worry. Okay, I'm working from home today. Conference calls all morning. This is a lie. I have no conference calls, but I need to be here. Need to know the exact moment she leaves. Need the house to myself for what I'm planning to do. Jennifer finishes her coffee, gathers her purse and a folder. The folder, I realize, containing the documents I signed last night, the evidence of my own deception. She kisses me goodbye. Love you too. The words are automatic now. Meaningless sounds. I watch from the window as she backs out of the driveway, her car disappearing down the street toward the bank where she'll file fraudulent paperwork and steal my house. Then I move. I start in the home office Jennifer uses for her volunteer work, a converted second bedroom with a desk, filing cabinet, and enough organizational supplies to stock a small business. The filing cabinet is locked, but Jennifer keeps the key in her desk drawer, tucked inside an envelope marked Warranties. I find it on the second try. Inside the cabinet, financial records, organized by year and category, bank statements, investment accounts, credit card bills, and there, in a folder marked House Riverside Drive, the evidence I need. I photograph everything with my phone. The original purchase agreement, the mortgage documents, the real ones, not the fake refinancing form she had me sign. Proof of the down payment, showing exactly how much I contributed versus how much came from Elizabeth's loan. Except, when I look closer, I see something interesting. The down payment check, $120,000, came from a joint account. Jennifer and I share. Both our names on the account. Both our money. Accumulated over years of marriage. There's no record of any loan from Elizabeth, no transfer from her accounts to ours, no documentation of the $400,000 promissory note she supposedly wrote 3 years ago, because it doesn't exist. It never existed. Marcus Whitfield fabricated it, created fake loan documents to make it appear that Elizabeth gave Jennifer money before our marriage, money that was then used to purchase the house. It's fraud, pure and simple, and I have proof that it's fraud. I take photos of everything, every bank statement showing the actual source of our down payment, every mortgage document with both our names, every piece of evidence that contradicts the story they're trying to tell. Then I put everything back exactly as I found it, lock the filing cabinet, return the key to its hiding place. In Jennifer's desk drawer, I find something else. A burner phone. Cheap, prepaid, the kind you buy at convenience stores for cash. It's powered off, but when I turn it on, it has one contact saved. M.W. Marcus Whitfield. Jennifer has been communicating with her mother's attorney on a phone I didn't know existed. I scroll through the messages, my stomach tightening with each one. Documents ready. David signed last night. Filing this morning. Jennifer, sent at 11:47 p.m. last night. Excellent. I'll begin drafting the divorce petition. We should wait minimum 3 weeks before filing to avoid appearance of coordination. M.W. Sent at 7:02 a.m. this morning. Mom says 4 weeks is better. Gives time for deed to be fully processed. Agreed. We'll aim for mid-November filing. Make sure David suspects nothing in the meantime. He doesn't suspect anything. He never does. I photograph the entire text thread. Document the burner phone's existence. Then power it off. Return it to exactly where I found it. The arrogance of it staggers me. Jennifer didn't even bother to hide the phone well, just tucked it in a desk drawer, behind some stationery and a box of paper clips. She's so confident I'll never look, so certain I'm too trusting and oblivious to notice. She's right. The old David, the David from 3 days ago, would never have looked, would never have questioned, would never have violated her privacy by searching her desk. But that David is gone. In his place is someone harder, someone who's learned that trust is a weapon that can be used against you, someone who's been forced to evolve or be destroyed. I continue my search. In the bedroom closet, in a shoebox on the top shelf, I find more documents, printouts of California divorce law, specifically sections about separate property versus community property. Highlighted passages about how to prove that assets acquired during marriage with premarital funds remain separate property. A list, in Jennifer's handwriting, of our assets and their estimated values. The house appraised at $850,000. My $400,000 and $127,000. Our joint savings, $43,000. My car, $15,000. Her car, $0 gift from mother, not marital property. Next to each item, she's written notes. The house, mine separate property via quitclaim and mother's loan. The $401, his, protected by prenup. Savings, split 50/50. My car, his bought before marriage. She's been planning this for months, maybe longer, methodically calculating, strategizing, determining exactly what she can take and what she'll have to leave behind. There's something else in the box. A brochure for an apartment complex in the same neighborhood as Elizabeth's estate. Luxury 1-bedrooms starting at $3,200 per month. One of the units is circled in red ink with a note, "Available deck first." December 1st is 5 weeks away. She's already planning where she'll live after she kicks me out of my own house. I photograph everything, document it all, add it to the growing pile of evidence that will eventually bury her. Then I return everything to its precise location and move on. By the time Jennifer returns from her errands, I'm back in my study, participating in a video call that actually exists, this time a status meeting with my team that I scheduled specifically to have an alibi for being home. She pokes her head in, waves, mouths, "I'm back." I wave back, gesture to my screen to indicate I'm busy. She nods, disappears. The meeting drones on. I contribute when necessary, my professional persona fully engaged while my mind is elsewhere, cataloging everything I found this morning, mentally organizing it into categories of evidence. When the call finally ends, it's almost 1 o'clock. I'm hungry, but too wired to eat. Instead, I text Diane Chen from the secure number she gave me, using a Signal app I downloaded this morning on a secondary phone I bought during my lunch break yesterday, paid for in cash, registered to a name that's not mine. Paranoid? Maybe, but effective. Need to meet. Have new evidence. Today, if possible. Her response comes 20 minutes later, 4 p.m. Same place. Come alone. The coffee shop feels different this time. More real, somehow. Less like a scene from a spy movie, and more like the actual battlefield it is. Diane is already there when I arrive. Same back booth, laptop open. She closes it when she sees me approach. "Show me what you have." I pull out my phone, the burner, not my regular one, and start showing her the photographs, the financial records, the text messages with Marcus Whitfield, the divorce planning documents, the apartment brochure. Diane's expression remains neutral, but I see the spark in her eyes. Attorney recognizing a strong case when she sees one. "This is good," she says when I finish. Very good. The burner phone especially. That's consciousness of guilt. People don't communicate on secret phones unless they know what they're doing is wrong. Is it enough? Combined with the recordings and your sworn declaration from yesterday, it's more than enough to challenge the quitclaim deed. But David, we need to talk about what you want the endgame to be here. I want my house back. That's a given, but I mean bigger picture. Do you want to pursue criminal charges? Because what Jennifer and her mother have done, with Marcus Whitfield's assistance, this isn't just grounds for divorce. It's fraud. It's conspiracy. It's potentially criminal. I hadn't thought that far ahead. Criminal charges meant police, prosecutors, potential jail time. It meant turning this from a divorce case into something much larger, much more serious. It meant destroying not just Jennifer's plan, but potentially her entire life. I don't know, I admit. You don't have to decide now, but you should think about it. Because once we reveal what we know, once we start this process, there's a choice point. We can keep it civil, challenge the deed, file for divorce on our terms, expose their scheme but keep it in family court. Or we can go nuclear, report it to the DA, pursue criminal prosecution, potentially see all three of them face charges. What would you recommend? Diane leans back, considers. Honestly, I'd recommend you wait. Let them file for divorce first. Let Jennifer actually attempt to use the fraudulent quitclaim deed in her divorce petition, because that's when the fraud becomes actionable in a way that's undeniable. Right now, she's filed a property transfer, legally questionable, but she could claim it was a misunderstanding. But if she files for divorce and explicitly claims the house as her separate property based on fabricated loan documents, that's fraud in black and white, submitted to a court under penalty of perjury. So we wait. We wait. We gather evidence. We prepare. And when she files for divorce, we hit her with everything at once. Reveal the recordings. Challenge the deed. Expose Marcus Whitfield's involvement. Turn her own scheme against her. There's something almost poetic about that. Let Jennifer think she's won. Let her file for divorce, confident and in control, and then pull the foundation out from under her. How long do we wait? Based on those text messages you showed me, they're planning to file mid-November. 3 more weeks. Can you maintain the performance for 3 more weeks? 3 weeks of pretending. 3 weeks of coming home to a woman who's actively betraying me. 3 weeks of sleeping beside her, eating with her, performing the role of oblivious husband. I can do it, I say, and I mean it, because at the end of those 3 weeks, the truth will come out. And Jennifer Morrison is going to learn what happens when you underestimate someone. I drive home as the sun sets, the sky streaked with orange and pink, beautiful and indifferent. Jennifer's car is in the garage when I arrive. I can smell dinner cooking something with chicken, herbs, more domestic performance. She greets me with a kiss, asks about my day, tells me about hers. Got all the boring banking stuff done, she says casually. We're all set with the house paperwork now. Everything properly filed and organized. Great, I say. One less thing to worry about. Exactly. We eat dinner. We watch TV. We go through the motions of married life. And I count down the days until the truth comes out. 3 more weeks. 21 more days. And then Jennifer Morrison learns what justice looks like. The next 3 weeks are the longest of my life. Each day is a performance. Each conversation, a carefully choreographed dance. Each smile, each touch, each I love you, a lie, wrapped in the veneer of normalcy. I wake up next to a woman who's stolen my house, and I kiss her good morning. I come home from work to a woman who's planning my destruction, and I ask about her day. I exist in a state of split consciousness, one part of me going through the motions of married life, the other part watching from a distance, cataloging evidence, counting down days. It's exhausting in ways I never anticipated. The first week is the hardest. I'm hyper-aware of everything Jennifer does, every word she says, looking for signs that she knows I know. But there are no signs. She's perfectly normal, or what passes for normal, in a marriage that's been slowly dying for months. She's affectionate, but not overly so. busy with her volunteer work and her family obligations, planning Melissa's baby shower with the kind of focused intensity that Elizabeth Morrison brings to all her projects. On Wednesday of that first week, Elizabeth invites us to dinner again. I make an excuse: work deadline, can't get away. Jennifer goes without me. I stay home and use the opportunity to search the house more thoroughly. In a locked drawer in the garage, I find the key taped under a toolbox I never use. There are more documents. Loan applications Jennifer filled out in my name, back when we were first married. Nothing sinister about them at the time we were building credit, making big purchases together. But now, looking at them with new eyes, I see the pattern. Every major purchase, every significant asset, Jennifer positioned herself to have the controlling interest. The house was just the final move in a game she's been playing since the beginning. I photograph everything, add it to the growing archive of evidence on my burner phone, backed up to an encrypted cloud service Diane recommended. When Jennifer comes home from her mother's that night, she's carrying leftovers and a smile. Mom asked about you. She's worried you're working too hard. Tell her I appreciate the concern. You could tell her yourself. She'd love to have you over for dinner this weekend. I imagine sitting at Elizabeth Morrison's table again, listening to her voice, knowing what I know now. The woman who called me dead weight. The woman orchestrating my destruction with the casual efficiency of someone who's done this before, because maybe she has. Maybe I'm not the first man she's helped her daughter dispose of. Maybe next week, I lie. This week is brutal. Jennifer accepts this. Why wouldn't she? In her mind, I'm the same David I've always been. Workaholic, trusting, easy to manage. She has no idea I'm counting her lies, cataloging her deceptions, building a case that will dismantle her life as thoroughly as she's tried to dismantle mine. The second week brings a new complication: Melissa's baby shower. It's scheduled for Saturday afternoon at Elizabeth's house. A garden party, as planned, with 80 guests and a level of opulence that would make Gatsby envious. Jennifer has been helping plan it for weeks, coordinating caterers, arranging flowers, selecting party favors that probably cost more per unit than most people spend on groceries. "You're coming, right?" Jennifer asks on Thursday evening, as we're getting ready for bed. I know it's a lot of women, but Tom will be there. And Mom specifically asked me to make sure you come. Of course, Elizabeth wants me there. One more opportunity to play the loving mother-in-law. One more chance to assess whether I suspect anything. The woman is thorough, I'll give her that. I'll be there, I say. Thank you. Jennifer kisses me, her hand sliding down my chest in a way that's clearly meant to lead somewhere. And I let it, because that's part of the performance too. The intimacy we share in these weeks feels like a violation worse than the fraud itself, but refusing would raise questions, would signal that something has changed. So I participate. I play my role, and I hate myself a little more each time. Afterward, Jennifer falls asleep with her head on my shoulder, peaceful and content. Meanwhile, I'm staring at the ceiling, thinking about the text messages I found on her burner phone. The casual way she discusses my destruction with Marcus Whitfield, the confidence with which she executes each step of their plan. He doesn't suspect anything. He never does. I want to wake her up, want to tell her how wrong she is, want to see the moment when she realizes that the man she thought she knew so well is a stranger to her too. But I don't, because strategic patience is more powerful than emotional satisfaction, because Diane Chen's voice is in my head, steady and certain. Let them file first. Let the fraud become undeniable. So I wait. Saturday arrives with perfect weather, sunny but not hot. A gentle breeze carrying the scent of jasmine from Elizabeth's garden. The kind of day that seems designed for celebration. I drive to the Morrison estate with Jennifer, who's been up since 6 preparing last-minute details. She's wearing a blue dress that brings out her eyes, her hair styled in loose curls that must have taken an hour to achieve. She looks beautiful and happy and utterly convinced that her plan is working perfectly. The house and grounds have been transformed. White tents on the lawn, round tables dressed in pale pink linens, centerpieces of roses and peonies that probably cost what I make in a week. A string quartet plays near the fountain. Servers in crisp white shirts circulate with champagne and hors d'oeuvres. It's excessive and elegant, and exactly what I've come to expect from Elizabeth Morrison. She greets us at the door, resplendent in cream silk, pearls at her throat. "David, Jennifer, wonderful. You're right on time. The place looks incredible, Mom," Jennifer says, kissing her cheek. "Well, it's not every day we celebrate a new granddaughter." Elizabeth's eyes find mine, assessing. "David, you look well. Work must be calming down?" "A bit. Still busy, but manageable." "Good. I worry about you, working yourself to exhaustion. Jennifer needs you, healthy and present." The irony of this Elizabeth Morrison, expressing concern for my health and presence in Jennifer's life while actively working to remove me from it, is so profound I almost laugh. "I appreciate that," I say instead. Melissa appears, glowing in a maternity dress that probably cost more than my entire wardrobe. She hugs Jennifer, waves at me with the casual dismissiveness I've become accustomed to. To Melissa, I've always been Jennifer's slightly boring husband, the guy who shows up to family events and doesn't say much. Little does she know, I've been listening to recordings of her giggling about how easy I am to fool. "Come on," Jennifer says, linking her arm through mine. "Let's get you a drink before the estrogen gets too overwhelming." She's joking, but there's an edge to it. This is her world, her mother, her sister, their friends from the country club and the charity boards and the private school networks. I've never quite fit in here, and Jennifer has always seemed mildly embarrassed by that fact, even as she pretended not to be. Tom is exactly where Jennifer predicted at the bar, looking uncomfortable in slacks and a button-down, talking to another husband who looks equally out of place. I join them because it's expected, accept a scotch I don't really want, and settle in for an afternoon of performance. The party unfolds around me in waves of expensive perfume and polite conversation. Women I've met at previous Morrison family events stop by to say hello, their eyes sliding past me to focus on Jennifer. I'm an accessory here, a plus one, the husband who came because it was expected but isn't particularly interesting. Which works in my favor, actually. Nobody pays attention to accessories. Nobody notices when I drift to the edges of conversations, when I watch and listen rather than participate. And I learn things. I learn that several of the women here have been through divorces, nasty divorces, according to the whispered conversations I overhear. Divorces facilitated by Marcus Whitfield, who apparently has quite a reputation in Elizabeth's social circle for getting women what they deserve in settlements. I learn that Elizabeth has been talking about Jennifer, how proud she is, how Jennifer is finally coming into her own, how sometimes we outgrow our youthful choices and need the courage to make better ones. I learned that this party, this celebration of Melissa's impending motherhood, is also serving another purpose. It's a reminder to Jennifer of what she could have if she weren't tied to me. All these women with their successful second husbands, their beautiful homes, their comfortable lives funded by divorce settlements and strategic remarriages. It's a sales pitch, a vision of what Jennifer's life could be once she's free of her middle-class mediocrity. Around 3 o'clock, I step away from the party, claim I need the bathroom, but instead I drift through Elizabeth's house, this monument to wealth and control I've visited dozens of times but never really examined. The library is empty. Floor-to-ceiling bookshelves, leather furniture, a desk that probably dates to the 19th century. It's Elizabeth's private space, the room where she manages the family empire. I shouldn't go in, should just use the bathroom and return to the party. But I'm tired of should. Tired of playing by rules that others ignore whenever convenient. I enter the library, close the door behind me. The desk is unlocked arrogance or carelessness, I'm not sure which. Inside, I find files, financial records, investment portfolios, legal documents. And there, in a folder marked Jennifer Personal, I find something that makes my blood run cold. It's a prenuptial agreement. But not mine and Jennifer's, we have that one, the one I insisted on before we married, protecting my retirement savings and future earnings. This is different. This is a prenup between Elizabeth and Jennifer's father, written 35 years ago when they married. I skim the document, my legal knowledge limited but sufficient to understand the basics. In the event of divorce, The agreement states, all property acquired during the marriage with Elizabeth's family money would remain her separate property. Her husband Jennifer's father would receive only assets he brought into the marriage or earned independently, which, according to the financial records I'm seeing, was almost nothing. Elizabeth came from money. Serious, generational money. Her husband was a middle manager at an insurance company when they met, comfortable but not wealthy, just like me. And according to these records, Elizabeth used a quit-claim deed strategy to transfer property during the marriage. The same strategy her daughter is using on me now, because Elizabeth taught her how. I'm not the first victim of this scheme. I'm the second. The realization hits me like a physical blow. This isn't just about Jennifer wanting out of our marriage. This is a pattern. A Morrison family tradition, passed from mother to daughter. Find a suitable husband. Someone presentable, but not powerful. Use him to achieve respectability, stability, the appearance of normal married life. Then, when he served his purpose, dispose of him using the same legal mechanisms Elizabeth perfected decades ago. Jennifer's father died 3 years ago. Heart attack, supposedly sudden. But looking at these documents, seeing the prenup and the property transfers, and the financial maneuvering that left him with almost nothing despite 30-plus years of marriage, I wonder if the stress contributed. If being systematically stripped of everything you helped build might put strain on a person's heart. I photographed the documents, all of them. This evidence might not be directly relevant to my case, but it establishes a pattern. Shows that what's happening to me isn't an isolated incident, but a deliberate, practiced strategy. David? I freeze. The voice is from the hallway, Elizabeth, calling for me. I carefully return the documents to their folder, close the desk drawer, and step out of the library just as Elizabeth rounds the corner. There you are. I saw you slip away from the party. Are you all right? 1-9 is we don't come, Crosston hem, unro little break to come. Her eyes are sharp, assessing. She knows I was in her library. The question is, does she know what I found? Fine. Just needed a quiet moment. The crowd was getting a bit much. Of course. These events can be overwhelming, especially for introverts. She smiles, but it doesn't reach her eyes. Jennifer was looking for you. The gift opening is about to begin. I'll head back. I move past her, but she touches my arm. David, you know how much you mean to this family, don't you? How important you are to Jennifer's happiness. The words are kind. The tone is warm. But underneath, I hear the threat, the reminder that I'm part of this family only as long as I serve their purposes. The moment I become inconvenient, I'll be discarded like Jennifer's father was. Like I'm about to be. I know exactly where I stand, I say, and it's the truest thing I've said all day. Elizabeth's smile tightens fractionally. She releases my arm. Good. Now go find your wife. She needs you. I return to the party. Find Jennifer surrounded by gifts, laughing with her sister, living her best life at a celebration funded by the money her mother used to control her father, and now plans to use to control her. Does Jennifer see the pattern? Does she understand that she's becoming Elizabeth? That this scheme to steal my house is just the first step in a transformation that will turn her into her mother, wealthy, controlling, surrounded by beautiful things and empty relationships? Or does she think she's different, special, that her mother's love for her is real, not transactional? I settle into a chair at the edge of the gathering and watch the gift opening. Watch Jennifer exclaim over tiny clothes and stuffed animals and all the paraphernalia of impending motherhood. Watch Elizabeth preside over her family like a queen holding court, and I count down the days. 1 more week until mid-November. 7 more days until Jennifer files for divorce and discovers that her carefully laid plans have been built on a foundation of sand. 7 more days until the truth comes out. That night, driving home from the party, Jennifer is buoyant. That was perfect. Did you see Melissa's face when she opened Mom's gift? A $10,000 contribution to Charlotte's college fund. $10,000. Mom is unbelievable. She certainly is. And everyone loved the decorations. Mrs. Caldwell asked who our event planner was. She was shocked when I told her Mom and I did it ourselves. Very impressive. 1:55:70. Jennifer glances at me. You're quiet. Did you have a bad time? No, it was fine. Just tired. You're always tired lately. There's something in her voice, not quite concern, not quite irritation, more like assessment, making sure I'm not becoming problematic before the plan reaches its conclusion. Work has been demanding. Maybe you should take some time off, before the holidays get crazy. Maybe. We drive in silence for a while. Then Jennifer's phone buzzes. She glances at it, types a quick response, sets it down. I know, though I can't prove it, that she's texting Marcus Whitfield, or her mother, or both, coordinating the final steps of their scheme, making sure everything is in place for the filing that's coming soon. Just one more week. I love you, Jennifer says suddenly, reaching for my hand, and I wonder if she believes it when she says it. If somewhere inside her there's still a version of the woman I married, the one who laughed at my jokes and cried during sentimental movies and talked about building a life together. Or if that woman was always a fiction, a character she played to secure the marriage she needed for her mother's long-term plans. I love you too, I say. The lie tastes like ash. We pull into our driveway, the house that's no longer legally mine, though Jennifer doesn't know I know that. The home we bought together, that she stole through fraud and deception. Inside, everything looks the same. Same furniture, same artwork, same carefully curated aesthetic that Jennifer created. But it's all different now. Tainted, transformed from a home into evidence. Every room a crime scene. Every surface marked by betrayal. Jennifer heads upstairs to change. I linger in the living room, looking up at the smoke detector that captured everything. The invisible witness to their conspiracy. Thank you, I whisper to it. To Robert Chen, wherever he is. To the strange chain of circumstances that gave me the truth before it was too late. My phone buzzes. The burner, not my regular one. A text from Diane Chen. Timeline update. Whitfield filed preliminary paperwork this afternoon. Divorce petition likely Monday or Tuesday next week. Be ready. Monday or Tuesday. 3 or 4 more days. 72 to 96 more hours of performance. I can do this. I've been doing this for 3 weeks already. What's a few more days? Jennifer calls from upstairs. David, are you coming to bed? Yeah, I call back. Just checking my work email. I delete Diane's text. Power down the burner phone. Put on the mask of the oblivious husband one more time. Just a few more days. And then Jennifer Morrison learns what happens when you underestimate your opponent. Monday morning arrives with rain. It's unusual for Southern California in November. We're supposed to be in the dry season, all sunshine and Santa Ana winds. But the sky opens up around dawn, drumming against the windows with a persistence that feels almost biblical, like the universe decided this particular Monday deserves its own soundtrack. I wake to the sound of it and lie still, listening. Beside me, Jennifer sleeps peacefully, her breathing slow and even. I wonder if this is the last morning we'll wake up like this before she knows that I know, before the performance ends, before everything changes irrevocably. According to Diane Chen's text from Friday, the divorce petition is coming today or tomorrow. Marcus Whitfield filed preliminary paperwork, which means the machine is in motion. Soon, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, Jennifer will hand me papers or have them served, and the performance will enter its final act. I'm ready. I've been ready for weeks. But there's still something surreal about finally arriving at this moment. Like watching a car crash in slow motion. You know it's coming. You can see the trajectory, but some part of your brain still can't quite believe it's really happening. Jennifer stirs beside me, opens her eyes. It's raining. Yeah, I love rain days. She stretches, curls against me, makes me want to stay in bed all day. She's affectionate this morning, extra affectionate. And I realize with a sick certainty that this is it. Today is the day. She's being sweet because Marcus Whitfield told her to be sweet. One final performance of the loving wife before she drops the hammer. I have to go into the office, I say. Early meeting. This is a lie. I'm working from home today, told my team I had a contractor coming to fix the water heater. But I need Jennifer to think I'll be gone. Need her to feel comfortable making her move. Oh, she sounds disappointed. I was hoping we could have breakfast together. Rain check? The unintentional pun makes me want to laugh, but I swallow it. Sure, tonight then. I'll make your favorite. My favorite. She's really pulling out all the stops. I shower, dress in a suit, armor for what's coming. When I come back to the bedroom, Jennifer is still in bed, scrolling through her phone. She looks up when I enter, smiles. You look handsome. Important meeting? Just want to make a good impression. You always do. I kiss her goodbye. She holds on a moment longer than usual, her hand on the back of my neck. I love you, David. I love you too. The words are automatic now. Muscle memory. They mean nothing and everything all at once. I don't actually leave. Instead, I drive around the block and park 3 streets over, in front of a house with a for sale sign and no cars in the driveway. Then I walk back through the rain, staying on the opposite side of the street, using the cover of overgrown hedges and parked cars to stay out of sight. I feel ridiculous, like a character in a bad thriller, skulking through my own neighborhood, spying on my own house. But Diane was clear. Document everything. If Jennifer has me served today, she wants photos of the process server, the timestamp, any interactions that might prove useful later. I settle into position behind a neighbor's fence. These people work during the day, their backyard accessible through an unlocked side gate, and wait. The rain continues, steady and cold. I'm wearing a waterproof jacket, but it's not really designed for standing still in a downpour. Within 20 minutes, I'm soaked through, shivering, questioning every decision that brought me to this moment. Then, at 10:47 a.m., a silver Honda pulls up in front of my house. A man gets out, mid-30s, wearing a polo shirt and khakis despite the rain. He's carrying a manila envelope and a clipboard. He walks up to my front door with the purposeful stride of someone who does this professionally. Process server. I take out my phone, the burner, not my regular one, and start recording video. The man rings the doorbell. Waits. Rings again. Jennifer answers. Even from this distance, I can see her smile falter when she sees him. She knows what this is. She's expecting it. But there's still that moment of, oh God, it's really happening on her face. The process server says something. Jennifer nods. He hands her the envelope and the clipboard. She signs, takes the envelope. The whole interaction takes maybe 90 seconds. Then the process server leaves, and Jennifer closes the door. I keep recording for another minute, capturing the silver Honda pulling away, the timestamp, the empty street in the rain. Got it. I send the video to Diane Chen through an encrypted app, then text. Served 10:47 a.m. Do I go home now? Her response is immediate. Wait 30 minutes. Let her process, then return as if you forgot something. So I wait. Stand in the rain behind a stranger's fence, counting down minutes while my wife sits in our house, her house, legally. Thanks to the fraud, I allowed her to commit reading divorce papers she thinks will destroy me. I wonder what she's feeling right now. Relief? Guilt? Excitement at finally executing the plan she's been building for months? At 11:20, I walk back to my car, drive around the block, and pull into my driveway as if I've just returned from the office. Jennifer's car is still there. Kitchen light is on. I take a breath, put on my mask. The confused husband. The man who has no idea his world is about to implode. I unlock the front door and step inside. Jennifer? I forgot my laptop. She's sitting at the kitchen table. The divorce petition is spread out in front of her, official and final and utterly devastating to anyone who didn't know it was coming. Her eyes are red. She's been crying. This surprises me. I expected calculation, strategy, relief, not tears. David. Her voice breaks on my name. We need to talk. I set down my keys, move toward her slowly, like approaching a wounded animal. What's wrong? What is all this? I'm so sorry. The tears are flowing freely now. I didn't want to do it this way. I wanted to tell you myself, but my attorney said it was better to have you served officially, that it was cleaner legally. She's playing the part beautifully. The reluctant wife. The woman forced by circumstances and legal advice to hurt the man she loves. If I didn't know the truth, I would believe her completely. Jennifer, what are you talking about? She pushes the papers toward me. I'm filing for divorce. I let the words hang in the air, let the shock register on my face. Not hard to do, even though I've been expecting this. Knowing something intellectually and experiencing it emotionally are different things. Divorce? I sink into the chair across from her. Why? What did I do wrong? You didn't do anything wrong. She reaches for my hand. I let her take it, though touching her right now makes my skin crawl. It's not about you. It's about me. About us. We've been drifting apart for so long, David. You have to have noticed. I thought we were working through it. The new house, fresh start. I know. I thought so too. But she wipes her eyes with her free hand. I can't keep pretending. I can't keep living a lie. I need to be honest with you, even if it hurts. I'm not happy. I haven't been happy for a long time. The script is perfect. She's playing the brave woman, choosing honesty over comfort, making the hard choice for both our sakes. It would be moving if it weren't such calculated bullshit. Is there someone else? I ask, because that's what the devastated husband would ask. No. God, no. David, this isn't about another man. It's about me figuring out who I am and what I want from life. And I'm so sorry, but what I want. It's not this. It's not us. I pull my hand away, stand up, walk to the window. Outside, the rain continues, washing the streets clean. I don't understand. We just bought this house. We've been planning our future. I know, and that's part of why this is so hard. But David, I can't keep planning a future I don't want. It's not fair to you. You deserve someone who's all in, who wants the same things you do. The irony is almost too much. She's framing this as her doing me a favor, setting me free to find real love, while she, what? Keeps the house she stole? Lives off the settlement from a divorce she engineered? I turn to face her. What happens now? My attorney, Marcus Whitfield. He's very good. Mom recommended him. He says the process is pretty straightforward. California is a no-fault state, so we don't have to prove anything. We just divide assets equitably and file the paperwork. The house is complicated. She looks down at the table, can't meet my eyes, and there it is, the moment she has to sell the central lie. David, I need to tell you something. The down payment for this house, it came from my mother, a loan she gave me years ago, before we were married. Technically, the house is my separate property, not community property. I let confusion wash over my face. But we both signed the mortgage. We did. But the equity, the initial investment that was mine, from Mom's loan. My attorney says that because of that, the house stays with me in the divorce. That doesn't seem right. I know it's complicated, and I know it seems unfair. But David, I'm not trying to cheat you. You'll get half of everything else. The savings, your retirement accounts, are already protected by the prenup. This is just about the house. Just the house. The $850,000 asset I've been paying the mortgage on for 2 months. The house I believed was ours, built on our combined efforts and shared dreams. I need to talk to an attorney, I say. For just a second, something flickers across Jennifer's face. Not quite fear, but close. Concern that I might actually fight this, might not be as easy to steamroll as they anticipated. Of course, she says quickly. You absolutely should. In fact, I'd recommend it. You should have representation. This should be fair to both of us. The magnanimity is breathtaking. She's recommending I get an attorney, making herself sound reasonable and generous when she knows or thinks she knows that any attorney will look at the paperwork and tell me I don't have a case. The quitclaim deed I signed? The backdated loan documents? The property transfer that's already been filed and processed? It's all designed to look legitimate enough that fighting it would be expensive and futile. What she doesn't know is that I already have an attorney, a very good one, who's been building a case for 3 weeks, gathering evidence, preparing to dismantle this fraud piece by piece. I'll find someone, I say. Take your time. There's no rush. Marcus says the whole process takes at least 6 months anyway. 6 months. She's planning 6 months of this living separately, dividing assets, performing the role of the amicable ex-wife while she systematically strips me of everything I've worked for. Where will you go, I ask. If the house is yours, I'll stay here. You can take whatever furniture you want, whatever makes sense. I'm not trying to make this harder than it has to be. How generous. She gets the $850,000 house, and I get to take some furniture. I need to think, I say. It's a lot to process. I know. I'm so sorry, David. I really am. She stands, moves toward me. For a horrible moment, I think she's going to try to hug me, but she stops just short, her hand hovering in the air between us. I never wanted to hurt you, she says softly. I hope you believe that. I look at her, really look at her. This woman I've shared a life with for 6 years. This stranger who's been plotting against me for months. And I wonder if any of it was real. If she ever loved me, even in the beginning. Or if I was always just a means to an end, a placeholder until she was ready to move on to whatever comes next. I need some air, I say, and leave before she can respond. I drive. No destination in mind. Just drive through rain-slicked streets while my phone buzzes in my pocket. I ignore it. Need to think. Need to feel this moment fully before I move to the next phase. Jennifer filed for divorce. It's done. The plan she's been building with her mother and Marcus Whitfield, the scheme they've been executing with such careful precision, it's now official, submitted to the court. Part of the public record, which means it's also now actionable. I pull into a parking lot, some strip mall in a part of town I don't recognize, and finally check my phone. 7 messages from Diane Chen. Did she tell you? Call me as soon as you can. We need to move quickly now. David, this is important. Call me. I call her back on the burner phone. She answers on the first ring. Did she give you the papers? Yes. Played it perfectly. Crying, apologetic, making it sound like she's being brave and honest. Said the house is hers because of a loan from her mother. Good. That's good. She's committed to the fraud in writing now. In her divorce petition, in her asset declaration. All of it submitted under penalty of perjury. I hear papers rustling. I'm filing our response today. Emergency motion to stay the divorce proceedings pending investigation of fraud. Motion to set aside the quitclaim deed. And David, I'm also filing a complaint with the state bar against Marcus Whitfield. Will that work? The bar complaint? Absolutely. What he's done, fabricating backdated loan documents, disguising a quitclaim deed as mortgage paperwork, counseling a client to commit fraud, that's grounds for disbarment. Even if we can't prove all of it in civil court, the Bar Association takes this stuff seriously. And the House? We have a strong case to void the transfer. The recordings, your sworn declaration from before the signing, the evidence you gathered showing the loan never existed, it all points to fraud. But David, here's where it gets interesting. I did some research on Elizabeth Morrison, on her financial history, and your mother-in-law has been through this before, not just with her own husband, that prenup you found, but with at least 2 other sons-in-law that I can trace. Different daughters from a previous marriage you probably didn't know about. Same pattern. Quitclaim deeds, backdated loans, properties that mysteriously become separate property right before convenient divorces. The implications of this cascade through my mind. She's done this multiple times, at least twice that I can prove, maybe more. Elizabeth Morrison has a system, David. She identifies vulnerable men her daughters marry, helps them acquire property using her money, then systematically reclaims it through legal maneuvering when the marriages end. It's sophisticated, it's borderline legal, and it's been incredibly effective. Until now. Until now, Diane agrees, because you have something none of her other victims had: documentation, video evidence, a paper trail that proves the fraud in real time. We can not only win your case, we can potentially expose a pattern of behavior that could have criminal implications. What do I need to do? Nothing yet. Go home. Act devastated. Let Jennifer think her plan is working. Meanwhile, I'm going to file our motions, serve Marcus Whitfield with the bar complaint, and start reaching out to Elizabeth's previous victims. If we can get even one of them to testify about similar experiences, it strengthens our case exponentially. How long before Jennifer knows what's coming? She'll be served with our response in 48 hours. But the real bombshell comes at the first hearing, when we present the video evidence. That's when she'll realize you knew all along. That's when the whole scheme collapses. I close my eyes. Picture that moment. Jennifer in a courtroom, confident and prepared, expecting a routine procedural hearing. And then Diane plays the recordings. Shows the video of her and Elizabeth and Melissa plotting in my living room. Exposes every lie, every manipulation, every calculated deception. When is the hearing? 2 weeks, maybe 3. Depends on the court schedule. But David, between now and then you need to be careful. Jennifer can't know you're preparing. If she suspects you have evidence, she might try to destroy her copies of the documents, might coordinate stories with her mother and Whitfield. We need the element of surprise. I can do that. I know you can. You've been doing it for weeks already. There's something like admiration in Diane's voice. Most people would have confronted their spouse immediately, would have let emotion override strategy. But you waited. You gathered evidence. You let them commit fully to the fraud. That's what's going to win this case. We discuss logistics for another 10 minutes, documents she needs, witnesses she's interviewing, procedural matters I don't fully understand but trust her to handle. Then we hang up, and I'm alone again in a parking lot in the rain, holding a phone full of evidence that will destroy my wife's life. I don't feel victorious, don't feel the rush of approaching revenge. I feel tired, sad, like I'm mourning something that died a long time ago, but I'm only now having the funeral. My marriage to Jennifer Morrison is over. It was over the moment she decided to defraud me, maybe over long before that. The woman I thought I married probably never existed. She was a performance, a role Jennifer played, while the real Jennifer, calculating, mercenary, her mother's daughter in every way planned her exit strategy. But if the marriage is over, at least I'll end it on my terms. At least I'll walk away with the truth. I drive home as afternoon fades into evening. The rain has stopped, leaving the streets slick and reflective, the sky clearing to reveal streaks of orange and purple sunset. Jennifer's car is gone when I arrive. A note on the kitchen counter explains, "Went to Mom's for dinner. Thought you might want some space. I'm sorry about everything. J." Space. That's what she's calling it. Giving me space to process, while she reports to Elizabeth, strategizes with Marcus Whitfield, celebrates the successful execution of their plan. I crumple the note and throw it away. Then, I go to my study, pull out the notebook where I've been documenting everything, and write, November 11th, Jennifer filed for divorce. Served at 10:47 a.m. by process server. Claims house is her separate property due to loan from Elizabeth Morrison. Recommended, I get an attorney. Maintained performance of reluctant but honest wife throughout conversation. Diane Chen, filing response tomorrow. Emergency motions to stay proceedings and investigate fraud. Bar complaint against Marcus Whitfield. First hearing in 2 to 3 weeks. The trap is set. I date it, timestamp it, add it to the growing archive of evidence that will prove my case. Then I sit in my study and wait for Jennifer to come home, so I can perform one more time. Just 2 more weeks. 14 more days. And then the truth comes out. The next 2 weeks are a study in contradictions. Jennifer moves through the house like a ghost, polite but distant. She's packed some of her things, clothes mostly, toiletries, the kind of gradual exodus that suggests she's already half gone. She sleeps in the guest room now, says it's easier this way, less complicated while we navigate the separation. I don't argue. Let her have her distance. Let her think I'm processing, grieving, slowly accepting the inevitable dissolution of our marriage. Meanwhile, Diane Chen works in the background like a silent army. She files the response. The emergency motions. The bar complaint against Marcus Whitfield that apparently sent shockwaves through Elizabeth's social circle, Diane heard from 3 different attorneys about it within 48 hours, all wanting to know what Whitfield had done to warrant such serious allegations. She interviews Robert Chen, gets his statement about the camera, the recordings, why he felt compelled to warn me. She tracks down one of Elizabeth's previous sons-in-law, a man named Richard Torres, who lost his house in a divorce 15 years ago under suspiciously similar circumstances. He's willing to testify. Eager, even. Apparently, he's been waiting years for someone to challenge Elizabeth Morrison's system. Your case is building momentum, Diane tells me during one of our clandestine meetings at the coffee shop that's become our war room. Whitfield knows he's in trouble. He tried to withdraw as Jennifer's counsel yesterday, but the court denied it. He's stuck representing her while facing a bar investigation. It's beautiful, really. What about Jennifer? Does she know yet? She knows something's wrong. She's received the response, seen our fraud allegations, but she doesn't know about the recordings yet. That's our ace. We save it for the hearing. The hearing, scheduled for November 29th, 10 days away now. 10 more days of performance. At night, I lie in bed and rehearse the moment. Jennifer in the courtroom, confident in her mother's plan, in Whitfield's expertise, in her own carefully constructed fraud. And then the video plays. Her voice, clear and damning. David doesn't pay attention to paperwork. He just signs whatever I put in front of him. Will she cry? Rage? Shut down completely? I'll find out soon enough. Jennifer tries to talk to me on day 8, corners me in the kitchen. Her expression something like, concern. David, my attorney, says your response is aggressive. Are you sure you want to fight this? It's just going to make everything more expensive and painful for both of us. I'm sure, I say. But the house, there's documentation. My mother's loan. It's all legitimate. Then you have nothing to worry about. Something flickers across her face. Doubt, maybe. Or the first whisper of fear. I never wanted this to get ugly, she says quietly. Neither did I, but it's already ugly. It's been ugly since the moment she decided to betray me. The ugliness is just finally becoming visible. November 29th arrives cold and clear. I wake at 5 a.m., unable to sleep, and watch the sky lighten through my study window. Jennifer is already gone, moved to her mother's house 3 days ago, said she couldn't stand the tension anymore. The house feels emptier without her, but also cleaner somehow, like a wound that's been lanced. I dress carefully. Navy suit, white shirt, red tie, armor for battle. Diane meets me outside the courthouse at 8:30. She's wearing her own armor, a black suit that means business, her hair pulled back severely, a leather briefcase that I know contains copies of every recording, every fraudulent document, every piece of evidence we've gathered. Ready? She asks. Yes. We enter together. The courtroom is smaller than I expected. Functional, fluorescent lit, nothing like the dramatic oak-paneled rooms from legal dramas. Jennifer is already there, with Marcus Whitfield, sitting at the defendant's table. She looks pale, nervous, keeps glancing at her phone. Elizabeth sits in the gallery behind them. Melissa beside her. Less pregnant now, she must have had the baby. They both radiate confidence. The Morrison women, certain of victory. They don't know what's coming. Judge Patricia Reeves enters at 9 a.m. sharp. She's 60-something, gray hair, the kind of face that's seen every scheme and lie the legal system has to offer. She looks at the case file, looks at us, looks at Jennifer and Whitfield. This is a motion to stay divorce proceedings pending fraud investigation, she says. Mr. Whitfield, you're opposing? Whitfield stands. Yes, Your Honor. The plaintiff's claims are without merit. This is simply a case of buyer's remorse, Mr. Morrison signed a quit-claim deed voluntarily, now regrets it, and is attempting to— Your Honor, Diane interrupts, standing. I have video evidence that disputes Mr. Whitfield's characterization. The courtroom goes silent. Jennifer's head snaps up. Whitfield freezes mid-sentence. Elizabeth leans forward in her seat, Judge Reeves raises an eyebrow. Video evidence? Yes, Your Honor. Obtained from a security camera in the marital residence. With your permission, I'd like to play it now. Permission granted. Diane connects her laptop to the courtroom's display system. And then, on a screen mounted on the wall where everyone can see, the video plays. My living room. Jennifer, Elizabeth, Melissa. The coffee table covered in documents. So we're all agreed then? Once the house is in my name, we proceed with the plan? I watch Jennifer's face as she watches herself on screen. The color drains from her cheeks. Her hands grip the table edge. The video continues. Elizabeth explaining the quitclaim deed, the backdated loan documents, the strategy to disguise fraud as routine paperwork. David doesn't pay attention to paperwork. He just signs whatever I put in front of him. Jennifer's voice, clear and damning, fills the courtroom. Behind her, Elizabeth has gone very still. Melissa looks like she might be sick. Whitfield is frantically whispering to Jennifer, but she's not listening. She's staring at the screen, watching her own betrayal play out in high definition. The video ends. Silence. Judge Reeves removes her glasses, cleans them slowly. When she speaks, her voice is ice. Mr. Whitfield, I assume you were unaware of this conspiracy when you agreed to represent Mrs. Morrison. Whitfield stands, looking like a man watching his career end in real time. Your Honor, I'm granting the stay, Judge Reeves interrupts. Furthermore, I'm referring this matter to the district attorney for potential criminal prosecution. Mrs. Morrison, Mrs. Pass, Morrison Sr., and you, Mr. Whitfield, should expect to be contacted by investigators. She bangs her gavel. We're adjourned. The courtroom erupts. Reporters who were lurking in the back rush forward. Elizabeth is on her feet, her face twisted with rage and something else, fear. Jennifer just sits there, staring at nothing. I stand, walk out with Diane, don't look back. In the hallway, Diane turns to me. How do you feel? I consider the question. The truth is, complicated relief, vindication, sadness, a strange emptiness, where the rage used to be. Free, I say finally, and it's true. For the first time in months, I'm free.